with talent, craft, and dreams and making plans. But decisions came like twisters, scattered hopes across the floor. Now players shake their heads, wondering what they're gaming for. Oh, Warner Brothers, what you doing to your name? Patent nemesis, it's greed behind your fame. Canceled Wonder Woman, left us waiting in the dust. Suicide Squad sinking fast, lost the gaming world's trust. That nemesis system had folks cheering far and wide, but you locked it down and creativity just died. Instead of leading progress, you're blocking up the lane, holding back the industry, causing nothing but disdain. Oh, Warner Brothers, can't you see the gaming light? Misreading your audience, getting nothing right, letting great teams crumble, opportunities ignored, gamers asking why they're even bothered anymore. Wonder Woman could have soared, made history anew, but you tossed her out like yesterday's news. Suicide Squad came in hot, crashed and burned right through. Misunderstood your market, now the joke's on you. Oh, Warner Brothers, lost in stubborn pride. Gaming world's changing, but you're stuck inside. Missed every chance you had, ignored the warning signs. Better wake up soon before you fall too far behind. Here's a message, Warner, from gamers coast to coast. Respect your teams and visions, or you'll end up as a ghost. Stop wasting all potential, learn to play the game, or Warner Brothers games will just remain a crying shame.
That's most definitely what's up.
Time to play the game. Imagine a hero shooter where the hero never showed.
16 times the detail.
Imagine a game with a player base that just refused to grow.
Shout out to the chess club.
A 5v5 hero shooter with gameplay that's just okay.
We're aiming for a controversial 7 out of 10.
And characters that remind me of Tupperware and white bread.
But something's wrong with the game.
No, I'm not talking about Overwatch. Please stop bringing up Overwatch. This game is not Overwatch. It's actually something else. Imagine a game with a story that no one watches.
I'm vibing!
A game that costs $40 that Sony totally botches. It has all my favorite characters, like Lemmy, Dawn, and Craig. At least, I think that's what their names are. I never bothered to check. Concord like the grave, your legacy is safe. As a game that no one played, and a price that no one paid. Boop-a-doop-ba, deep-a-doop-da, scoop-a-boop-ba, beep-beep-beep-beep-beep, phlegm. Concord was about as good as accidentally peeing on your own leg. Concord, we're here to lay you to rest. We know you tried your best. You copied so much cool stuff just to turn out lame in the end. I'll never forget my favorite moments, like when Hot Sauce Guy jumped. Remember when he jumped? That was really cool. A rat just ran by on my desk, and even the rat didn't want to play Concord, even though I blessed him with the chance. The $40 he could afford, but the rat just stared on in a trance. Rat, 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 rat. Concord's dead. Rat, 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 rat. Concord's dead. The Costco guys made more money than you. They were just on Jimmy Fallon too. Imagine Lennox being on Jimmy Fallon, because I literally can't. The rat on my desk is eating all my Cheerios and grapes, and also Concord is dead. Concord like the grave, your legacy is safe as a game that no one played, and a price that no one paid. Rat attacked a beep a dap. Skim, milk, the rat fleet, doo-dah, doo-dah. A guy said he really liked it, and then a bunch of rats ate his face. That's the sound he made when Concord passed away. I wish things turned out different, but either way I'm getting paid. Concord's dead, Concord's dead. And boy is my face red. When the game came out, everybody overslept. Concord's dead, Concord's dead. Holy crap, Lois, Concord's dead. When the game out, people played everything else instead.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, we're back. Lots of stuff to talk about today, huh? Not much that we expect. I mean, we did expect it, but this whole Oblivion thing has been kind of a masterclass in how to manipulate the audience into just getting more and more hyped. It's one thing you have to give, like, BGS in general. And I know that this is like a virtuous project that they're like also on. Like, it's not as simple as just BGS. But Todd knows how to hype something up. He just does. You know, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it because there's been a mix of like some like legitimate things that has been pointing to this, but then there's also been a mix of some like surprises and then some like totally fake stuff. But either way, it serves the purpose, which is to get people talking about it and excited. So we'll light the candle up. We'll talk about it. Don't you worry. Also, shout out Tyler. Thank you for gifting a membership to the community. And Pivex, also thank you for subbing over on Twitch. That's very generous of you. All members now also have access. Twitch is still reviewing them, so you guys will have it soon. But you have access to a couple of new emotes, Jor Wow and Jor Thinking. So you can put Jor Raptor emotes in chat now. Twitch, once they prove them, they should be in. Also, shout out to everybody over on the Discord. We've been having a good time chatting over the weekend. Over there, having a great time. Glad to have everybody in there. I also asked you guys, in Luke Asks You, I asked you for your gaming hot takes, and we got a lot. So we'll touch on those. Because it's going to be, you know, some of these are like very, very, like, I don't know, they're very milquetoast and like totally fine. Some of them are like a little bit, ooh, that might upset some people. Like Red Dead 2's story is good, but it could have been half the time. Okay, I could see that. We could debate that. That's interesting. The pacing might be part of it. And then, yeah, better artist than game director. I think that's totally, I think that's interesting. That could be a good debate. Then there were some where it's like, I think that Fortnite's not great. It's like, well, okay. You know, but we got some good ones in here. We will talk about at that point. Once again, if you want to do that, members, Twitch subs, get access to it. And if you're wondering how to do it, just do ! Discord and you will see it. That being said, we should probably talk about the elephant that will be in the room tomorrow. Should we? Shall we not? Jor is sexy as F. He is my crush since forever. He is the Chad. Cannot wait to see his pretty face again. We all need some shirtless Jor. Jesus Christ. I'll forward him that message. We'll see if he see what he does with that information. Hayden, thank you also for becoming a member. That's fantastic. Thank you. Glad to have you guys here. Also, I just want to say at the outset while we prepare our candle, some people were wondering, like, hey, Luke, obviously, like, I may not have the ability to get a membership, Twitch sub, whatever, I totally understand that. We have a very generous community that's also been gifting them. And I have a plan. It was going to be for today if we were going to play Oblivion. But my goal is to also like match gifted subs and memberships. So if we get to the point where it's like, hey, somebody gifted 10, I want to gift 10 as well to the community to give back. So we'll just get people in, because I just want people in the Discord. It's super fun having a place where we can all like chat and share stuff. So we're going to try to build it. But if we open it up completely to the public, it gets overrun. And then we have like bots come in, there's scammers that come in, there's like a lot of problems that come with it. So having it a little more exclusive helps prevent that. But yeah, anyway, we'll get there. We'll cross that bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I need a Discord daddy. Who doesn't? That's what I'm saying. Okay. I perceive the reason why the trailer is delayed till tomorrow is because Todd punishes us for snooping around early. I imagine if we didn't get the leaks, we might have gotten the trailer hours ago. Oh, like this is their way of punishing our misbehaviors. Could make sense. Could make a lot of sense. Okay. Also, somebody put this in the Discord. I just thought this was funny. I think it was, who was it? Somebody posted it in memes. Loxy did. Yeah, this is this is just funny. If you don't know, this is Roberts. This is the guy that runs Robert Space Industries, which is making Star Citizen, which just raised $800 million. Yeah, that's what a guy. Oh man. Okay. It's time. You know it is. Also, Straw Hat, thank you for that gifted membership. 5. Oh, geez, it's 5 gifted memberships. Look at that. See, it's already happening, guys. 5 gifted memberships to the community, just like that. Welcome, everybody. Again, if you're wondering how to get access to the Discord, if you just got gifted a membership, !Discord,
Will
all lower
donated
caps.
$10 through Super
You'll see the
Chat.
instructions.
I don't expect the game to drop alongside the announcement. Shelter is the only time they've done that. But I anticipate a full-blown remake. Hoping they say, expect more news later this year. Eyes folded, hands tired.
You see, there's a chance of that. You know, I'll bring this up here just a second. I'll bring up your super chat as part of this, okay? Buckle up, buckaroo. News segment. Let's talk about it. Also, Tyler, thank you for the 5. Dutch, I have a plan. We all know how that went. Yeah. Poor Dutch. And then Devo Diabolical, thank you for the 5. Love your content, brother. So hyped for Oblivion. What do you think the chances are it drops on PlayStation? Oh, it's dropping on everything. I think there's no shot that it is exclusive. So yeah, I think it's dropping everywhere. Hayden, again, thank you for that membership. Same to you, Tyler, as well. And again, Straw Hat, Fooey, thank you for the 5 gifteds. That's fantastic. And Pele, thank you for resubbing over on Twitch. New segment. You're damn right. I think you meant to say new segment. Okay, you ready? We light the candle this morning in honor of Todd, who is about to bestow blessings upon us in the form of Oblivion remake, remaster, whatever it's going to be. It's a glorious day. And we're going to talk about it because there's been updates, developments, and I also want to point out some silly, stupid stuff that also happened as a part of all of this. So buckle up. Thank you, Sturman.
Sturman donated $19.99 through Super Chat. Big fan of your work. Seems like Marathon is a watered-down extraction shooter that Bungie hopes to draw more attention to the genre, only to then have those people move to better, more established head games.
Thoughts? I think the way they presented it feels that way. My understanding of what the game will be in its entirety is that there's a lot more to it. I just don't think they did a good job of framing what like long-term and end game play is like, because that's all tied to these extra maps, the ranked mode and stuff, which they didn't share anything about. So I think it will eventually make more sense and we'll see the broader vision. But for whatever reason, during the announcement, they just focused on like basically what you're going to do for the first 15 hours. And that made a lot of hardcore extraction players go well, what's going to keep me going? So I think that will make sense in time. And the alpha, which I think starts on Wednesday, that will also open up a lot of the discourse. Yeah, it certainly was presented that way. I think there will be a lot. Like, Bungie knows how to make endgame content. There's nobody saying otherwise. Like, they know what they're doing in that case. I just think they did a bad job of framing it. And I think the fact that there's so much like debate back and forth shows pretty clearly that, you know, that's the case. Also, Bullrock, thank you for sub with Prime over on Twitch. Thank you for that. So yeah. Having said that. Also, Tyler just became a show-off member, officially showing off. Thank you, Tyler. Very generous, and I'm glad to have you. Thank you. I have to make special badges for show-off members. I got to do that. And then for people who are, I think we have 1 or 2 people that are members on the no one should choose this option, which is insane because that's like $100 a month. I don't know why you would do that. I literally say no one should choose this, but they do. So I got to make special badges for all those. Anyway, let's talk about this. So Bethesda Game Studios opened this morning at 9:30 a.m. and they posted tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. And it's just a picture with a big old 4 on it. Tomorrow, 4/22, on YouTube and Twitch, doing a reveal. Now, why do I think this is utterly brilliant instead of just shadow dropping it today? They got everybody to pay attention today, thinking the game was shadow dropping today, and then they announce that they're going to do the full reveal tomorrow while everybody's watching and aware of it.
Avery V donated $15 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Hey you're finally awake. You were trying to play Oblivion, right? Walked right into Bethesda's ambush, same as this.
They
and
got
those
you.
streamers over there.
Oh, you're awake. You're awake. I do want to say, Will posted in through a very generous super chat. He said, I don't expect the game to drop alongside the announcement. Shelter is the only one, Fallout Shelter, is the only time they've done that, but I anticipate a full-blown remake, hoping they say expect more ES news later this year. I think the odds are pretty high that they actually do drop it, because yes, BGS has never done like a full shadow drop aside from the mobile game before, but Bethesda Softworks has. Bethesda Softworks is the same publishing body that published Tango Gameworks' game Hi-Fi Rush, and that was a shadow drop. So we can look at it and be like, oh, well, technically, like, you know, BGS hasn't done this, but Bethesda Softworks has. So, you know, it depends on the lens through which you look at it. But I do think there's a high likelihood that they actually do just drop it. And part of this is because of some of the other information that we've seen come out. For example, Oblivion Remastered on SteamDB was discovered. The listing was actually found, which is interesting. So they believe they've hunted that down and found it, which would again imply that it's very, very close. There's been other faked things like this. This is one of the most hilariously stupid fakes I've seen. Somebody's like, I saw it on my Game Pass page. Look how bad this is. They literally just copy and pasted the square on top of it. Like, doesn't even line up. It doesn't even line up right. You see it overlaps. But I've been getting stuff like this sent to me all weekend of people just getting super hyped. And a lot of it is real. A lot of it is fake as hell. Which, like, whatever. We're having a good time. We're having fun. But I think what seems to be the consensus is that they are very close. They are tying this up nicely in a tight bow. But almost certainly, maybe the bigger takeaway is that this has to be one of the like most poorly kept secrets in recent gaming history. Like, it really is remarkable. It's really fascinating, because I do think this would have been like a mind-blowing reveal for it to just drop out of nowhere. But instead, it almost seems like they've given up on trying to keep it a secret at this point. Like, even on Twitch, people were saying that they found the category on Twitch officially. Like, I think at some point they just kind of gave up, which is fine. And that you can see it's possible somebody else just added it and Twitch approved it, but Twitch approved it and they only in theory are supposed to approve official like real games. So either way, like they kind of gave up on it. And I appreciate that it's like a surprise and they're you know, that they tried to make it a shadow drop, because the shadow drop would have been really, really cool. It's just really hard to keep something as a shadow drop when it's on that scale. It's why somebody asked me the other day, they're like, do you think that we're going to see GTA 6 be a shadow drop at this point? And on the one hand, you're like, it would be really funny and they could do that and still sell millions and millions of copies. But there is no way on earth, no way that they would be able to do that without it leaking, without somebody saying with a leaky lip, just being like, oh yeah, by the way, this is happening. Because that's how this stuff leaks, is that it's one person in the marketing team who sends an email to a reporter and is like, hey, just so you know, this is happening. Or they're out at a bar and they say something. There's been cases of like major game leaks happening because two people got a beer at like PAX East and they were sitting next to a journalist and they didn't realize it and they're talking about a secret project. And then that's how the information starts spreading. Something as simple as that can cause all of this to collapse. It's like those old stories. Do you remember the old stories of the iPhone when the iPhone X was coming out? Like the first all screen one. Wow. That had the big forehead on it. You remember this? The iPhone X. This was seen because a like Apple engineer was using it at a bar in like Washington, DC or something. Somebody like took a picture of it over his shoulder, and that's how it started to leak that it was happening. It's just somebody thinks that they're fine, they're alone, they don't need to worry about it. That's how this stuff starts to leak. So I don't think there's any way that something like GTA 6 could be secret and kept secret that long. And I also think that there's no way that Oblivion remaster, remake, whatever, could be kept a secret that long, because this was the moment that it started to, the boulder started to roll. I don't think there was any stopping that, because once people know that this is coming, they start to dig. A lot of this stuff could stay hidden for a long time. Those leaked pictures and side-by-side comparisons and stuff allegedly were on the Virtuous website for a while. And they were only found after somebody went in and started digging through the whatever, I don't know how it works. Like wherever they store the pictures for the website, you can apparently dig through a lot of it. But they only found these side-by-side comparisons and stuff. This one I think they made from scratch, but they only found like these pictures once they started digging. But if they hadn't dug, those would still be sitting there and nobody would have found them. But it's only because all the attention is on it that this stuff starts to really leak and pick up speed. And even a game like this, Virtuos has like 4,000 employees. Almost certainly all of them know that they were working on this. Not all 4,000 were working on this, but they work in the same company. They probably had heard, oh, where's Tim working at? Oh, Tim is working on he's working on the Oblivion thing. Okay. Like almost certainly all of those people knew about it. People within Microsoft's marketing teams knew about it. People within ZeniMax, people within Bethesda Softworks, Bethesda Game Studios. There's a lot, thousands upon thousands of people knew about this. And so it was, it just takes one leaky lip to make this start to spread. And that seems to be what happened. Either way, I think how they've handled it has been solid. They could have just shadow dropped it today and just been like, yep, play, have fun. You knew, you got us. They could have done that. But instead, they got everybody's attention to be on Monday, whether that was intentional or not, or some glitch with the AI bot or whatever it was. They were like, okay, everybody's attention is on right now. Okay, let's announce the announcement, get them even more excited, so everybody tunes into the reveal, and then we'll shadow drop it after the reveal. Because some people have been, as the super chat brought up, maybe they don't even release it tomorrow. It's just like, oh, we'll release it later this year or something. I don't think they do that. I think the odds are much higher that they actually do shadow drop it, because a lot of the leaks and stuff have been coming from sources saying that the strategy has been from the beginning to shadow drop it. Just because everybody knows about it now does not mean that they're just going to sit on the game for 6 months. And I think that that's accurate and fair. Like this has been the goal for a long time, is to drop it and put it out there for people to enjoy. And I think delaying it wouldn't make sense unless unless they were worried that it could trample on like Expedition 33's hype through Game Pass, because that's a Game Pass day one title, even though it's also releasing on like PlayStation and PC and everything. But even then, like, I don't know if it cannibalizes too much, because Oblivion is like, yeah, Oblivion and Expedition 33 are both RPGs, but they're different, you know. Like, one is a like first person adventure game that has RPG stuff in it. The other is this like really narrative cinematic game that takes nods from old school RPGs and like old school Final Fantasy games, that type of thing. So I'm not sure if the overlap is that crazy high, but it's, I mean, it's not insignificant, probably. Yeah, it's like strategy versus adventure. I'm not sure. It's whatever it is. If they end up dropping this tomorrow for people to play, I think it shows that they're pretty confident that they're not going to cannibalize each other too much. Whether that's right or not, who knows? But I'm very interested in it. You know, we did a survey, a poll over on the Discord. On stream, I pasted it to the Discord, where I asked you guys about some of the features that you expect to see with this. Because I've said for a long time, since this was first starting to get rumored, I was like, there is a high likelihood that this game ends up being more like graphically and technologically impressive than Elder Scrolls 6 ends up being. Because ES6 is going to be built with the same engine and toolkit that they used for Starfield. And I think, you know, Unreal Engine has plenty of shortcomings, plenty of problems, but Unreal Engine 5 has a lot of strengths too. And those strengths directly compete with what Elder Scrolls or what BGS puts forward. Which I don't think you can dismiss. And out of those things that you guys, we asked you, I asked, like, just very quickly, do they remove the constant load screens in the Oblivion remake? Meaning, when you go in and out of doors, when you go in and out of caves, do they still have big load screens? And a solid like 38% of you think they do get rid of it. And if that's the case, I mean, you will probably see, I can already see the comparison videos. Just imagine, like, Elder Scrolls 6 versus Oblivion remaster, Oblivion remake, whatever. The side-by-sides are, I mean, they make themselves, you know? Either way, it's going to be really fascinating to see what this does differently, because there's been rumors and things, such as how Michael, Legacy Kill HD kind of put them together here. They've overhauled the blocking mechanic, implying also at different times that there's going to be a parry system in line with what you might see in a Dark Souls game. Sneak icons are now highlighted. Stamina system has been modified. All of the UI and HUD has been overhauled, allegedly, to make it more palatable to younger audiences, is what the person said. And if you're wondering where all this came from, there was an employee, a Virtuos employee, who said that he worked on this and put all of this in his LinkedIn. Oops. And so, yeah, that's how we know about it. But we'll find out tomorrow, I'm sure. But hit reactions added. Archery has been overhauled as well. Some of the stealth stuff's been overhauled. But we don't know where the changes start and stop. That's the other piece here. Is remastered to me suggests that there's a lot more of the original DNA that still sits in here. Yes, all of the assets have largely been rebuilt. There's very little here that looks to be from like the original
Ryman88
assets,
donated $10 through Super Chat.
Thank you, Ryman.
They could fix Creation Engine by focusing on asset streaming next instead of lighting and procedural generation. It could remove loading screens, at least in theory.
My understanding, Ryman, is that the problem with the Creation Engine, I did a whole video on this on I think it was the video where it was called I asked modders if you can fix Starfield, and it's just, they said no, or whatever I titled it. But basically, I asked a bunch of modders and people with modding experience what's wrong and what is holding back the Creation Engine from allowing seamless environments to that scale. And it basically just has to go with floating point issues, or what they call floats. And really, really simple. This is my my very simplistic explanation of it, because I'm no expert in this field, to be very, very fair and clear. My understanding of it is every time you load into a scene in a video game, period, but also in especially Creation Engine games, you start here, and then these coordinates you can imagine are like 0, 0, 0, right? that's the starting point. When you load in, that's where it sets the center point. And then as you move away, the coordinates might change to like 20, 57, whatever, by 5 by 0. And that's the coordinate for it.
Flemnasty11 donated $9.99 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
BGS should go with the Sony model and remake Starfield next fall.
Just immediately. All of this just works.
16 times the detail.
That would be really funny. That would be really funny. I mean, they sort of will, allegedly, if they do like a PS5 release. They'll probably call it like the complete edition, and they'll do PS5 Pro enhanced overhauls and stuff. So they probably will do something like that, unironically, like literally. But my understanding of how this works is basically this works. The way that the engine has been programmed was designed for like games 20 years ago. That's how it was kind of established. But as time has gone on and these environments have gotten bigger, the details gotten bigger, it starts to break the further away from 0, 0, 0 you get. The further away from the starting point, from the center you get, the less accurately things are able to be simulated and generated, which causes all sorts of other problems with the physics sim, where like items don't drop realistically. They start to fly across the map and just everything starts to break. And this is actually, what is the... Is it Farlands in... Yeah, I think this is it. So in Minecraft, there was a phenomenon way back in the day when you got far away from the starting point, and it was called the Farlands here. And basically what happened is you would get here and then the map generation would break. Because once you crossed a certain point, the engine's understanding of how and where you are just starts to crumble. And they eventually fixed this in Minecraft, is my understanding. They recoded it and fixed why this would happen. But the same reason why you got the Farlands, where the topology and the environment would start to break and glitch out like this, and you just get these really weird structures, that is the same reason in terms of coding that causes the same thing within the creation engine that prevents them from going fully seamless, fully, crazy elaborate in terms of scale with Starfield, specifically with the big environments. That's why they had to build them in fish bowls. And, as for the specific scenes, I think that's more than anything just because the creation engine is built around physics sim. That's a huge component of the whatever Gamebryo engine, is to have all of these individual items, every fork, every block of cheese, every glass, every what is the damn name of it? Chalice, that's the word. Every single item in the world you can interact with and it has physics. You can pick it up and drop it. That's a big thing within the creation engine. And that doesn't really work when all of that is seamless, because then the engine is trying to simulate all of those physics objects at all times throughout the world. And the engine, my understanding is, it's not built where you can cull and cut out objects that are farther away. Instead, it's built around scenes. So when you load into this room that has a lot of stuff in it, you simulate that. And then when you leave the restaurant or you leave the base where there's a lot of objects and you load into the open world, there's not as many physics sim objects in the open world, so you don't have to worry about it as much. And then you unload everything else. It's not like this seamless streaming thing. And my understanding talking to modders is that you can't just fix that. Like, that's just, it is what it is. In the creation engine, that's how it works. That's my understanding, at least. So I do expect that within like this recreation of Oblivion, there will be less like physics sim. There will be less of that because it's just not how this is designed or not what they're trying to do with it. But I don't think that's a big deal. I mean, I think people would much rather have a polished game that's beautiful than be like, oh, I can pick up this chain and it drops and swings kind of realistically. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But to put all of that simply, I don't think you can just like stream things faster and get away from the core problem with like Starfield, which is that environments just can't be that big. It just doesn't work. So there's that. But for Elder Scrolls 6 specifically, I mean, I think Unreal Engine has plenty of shortcomings. There's no doubt about that. Don't get me wrong. This thing's probably going to be a stuttery mess because that's just what Unreal Engine is. It's going to be really heavy and not run great. But I do think that a lot of what we're seeing in this remaster remake is probably like graphically going to be more impressive than what we end up seeing in Elder Scrolls 6, which doesn't mean that ES6 is a bad game. It doesn't mean that this will be better. This could end up playing like ass. You never know. This could look really good, but lack all of the charm and original stuff that made the original one great. We don't know until tomorrow. But I do think that the odds are pretty high that graphically, at least, this game will be a standout, which is outstanding. But some of the further leaks, as you can see, they had things like cosmetic packs and stuff. Horse armor is being shown as part of the deluxe edition. So I think that's very likely going to be there. Lots of cosmetics and stuff. So I would guess that, you know, some people have suggested that this is going to be like $40, but Game Pass Day 1. And if you want the deluxe, it's like a $20 upgrade on top of that. And I think they're also going to be selling these cosmetics and stuff. I think that that's a big component of it too, is that they're going to be selling that stuff. So it'll probably be pretty aggressive in terms of pricing, but it is Game Pass Day 1. And I think in terms of monetization and like cosmetics and stuff, there's going to be a lot there, but seems to be happening. All the leaks seemingly were right, and it's coming soon. I wouldn't be surprised if they do like an hour showcase tomorrow or 30 minutes showing what it is and what's changed, and then like, and it's available now, because I think the plan was always to do something like this and then just surprise everybody when they shadow drop it. But now everybody knows that it's happening, so it just is what it is. But I don't think it's going to hurt it. You know, some people were like, I feel so bad for them. I'm not sure. Like, they might honestly be getting more attention now than they would have if they just shadow dropped it. Because right now, I mean, even on like Twitter, social media, just in general, you're seeing people that are like, I'm not even really that interested in Elder Scrolls, and I'm even hyped for this because it's just fun. Like, it's just fun to be excited for something. You know, it's going to come out and it might be really cool, really awesome. We don't know yet, but either way, there's a ton of attention on it, which I think is a big deal. I do think the strategy is interesting, especially like we said at the top, and like Synth Potato brings up, I feel really bad for Clair Obscur Expedition 33 for its release this week, seemingly about to be entirely overshadowed by the Oblivion remake. Both titles are day one Game Pass as well. Feels like a particularly cruel move by Xbox to drop these two next to each other. We'll see. I'm not sure how much these cannibalize each other. And I think for Xbox, their primary concern is Oblivion, because Oblivion is their baby. That's something that they've built and made, and they get a lot more payout from it, I'm sure, than Expedition 33. Either way, it's going to be interesting to see how they compete, assuming that they do drop, in fact, at the same time tomorrow. But I don't know. I guess I do want to ask you guys, let's do a poll. I'm going to do a poll. Straw poll. Will you be playing Oblivion Remastered? This is, when I say will you be playing Oblivion Remastered, I'm going to say within the first week. Okay? That's what I'm going to say. Just yes, no. Maybe I'll do trying, because it might end up sucking, but if it's on Game Pass, you might try it. But I'll do that. And you know what? Fine. You convinced me. I convinced myself. Maybe I'll wait for reviews / impressions / Luke's take, because I'm awesome. Okay. Let's see. Is that too many words? Yeah, no, that works. Okay. And then I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it into the chats. Okay. Okay. Here we go. It is in the chats now. Let's see what you say. Let's see what you say. I'm going to vote yes. I will be trying it. I will be. Okay. Okay. Yes, maybe. Okay. Okay. Interesting. You know what? While you guys are voting on that, now I kind of want to ask about Clair Obscur. Will you be trying? We'll do the same verbiage. Expedition 33. First week. Okay, yes. No. Maybe. Because now I'm curious how much of that overlap is happening. Okay, so you guys voted on that. Now I'm going to post the link for the Clair Obscur Expedition 33 one. Okay, because right now we're at like a solid 62% of you are saying yes. About a quarter of you are saying maybe, and only 12% are saying just no. It's not my thing. Not my thing. Interesting. So Clair Obscur seems to be a much more polarizing game. A lot more people are like, not for me. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, for a lot of people, Oblivion is just a locked in yes. Because both of these are Game Pass, so it might not even necessarily be price related. It's just taste related, which could explain why Xbox, if they're looking at this data, they're like, we don't think it's going to cannibalize too much. That's interesting. If people are just genuinely like, Fascinating. Yeah, it's pretty much pretty close to an even split. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, either way, I'm excited. I think what we're going to do is it's what, when, how, why. Where did I put? There it is. So it's at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. That's 9 a.m. my time. So, but crap. I think I have a dentist appointment tomorrow. Damn it. Hold on. Let me see.
Ricadius donated $9.99 through Super Chat. It was probably supposed to drop today, but they didn't want the PR disaster of releasing a game about a demonic invasion from hell on the same day the Pope died.
Do you really think that they made like that much of a last minute pivot? Not that the Pope dying, rip, by the way, not that is not a big deal. I'm just wondering if like something like this can be changed that last minute, you know? I mean, like for example, if Doom were set to release like this morning, like I don't think they would have delayed that, even though this is literally about fighting demons and stuff, you know? I don't know. I'm not sure if I believe that. I think most likely it's just that they realized, hey, people are really interested. Let's just surprise them one more time. It's not shadow dropping tomorrow. We'll just do the reveal and we'll announce the reveal. You know, I wouldn't blame them for doing that. By the way, this has nothing to do with anything, but I'm going to show you because it's cool. My buddy Corey just went to Japan. It's like a fun little trip he did with his lovely wife. And he asked me before he left, he's like, what, can I get you something? Can I get you something like to just have, you know, as a souvenir or something while I'm there? And I said, if you don't have to, but if you get me something I can put in the studio, something just like cool or fun or unique that I could put in like the background on the shelves or something, that would be awesome. And he's like, okay, bet. So he went and he found this little shop run by this very nice old lady, apparently, that carved a bunch of little statues and painted them herself and all this. You want to see what she makes? And he got me one. She apparently has like a whole line of these things. She makes a bunch of them. And they all have different little outfits. They all have different like names and kind of lore around them. It's like a whole thing, okay? Look how cute he is. It's like a little mouse dude. He's freaking adorable. Let me get him close. Look how cute he is. Hold on. Stop looking at my face. Stop. Isn't that so cool? I don't know what it says. Maybe somebody can tell me. I don't know what that is. But he's very cute. He's a little emperor mouse. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to put him in the background. There you go. Now you guys will know what that is.
Eric Branke donated $9.99 through Super Chat. No disrespect to E33, but I was 10 when Oblivion came out and it was one of the first games I fell in love with. Take my money, Todd. 16x more if you have to.
But something's
Praise
wrong
be
with
to-
the game.
Praise be to Todd. Praise be to Todd. By the way, if you're new to Discord, yes, we do have an entire room in the server that is just the Temple of Todd, and we just post memes and pictures, prayers, that type of thing to Todd. Yeah, I don't blame you, and thank you for the super chat. I don't blame you. I think a lot of people are in your same boat where they like this game is just special to them, and so the nostalgia factor alone is going to be worth selling. It's the same exact reason why I've said that the Black Flag remake is such a no-brainer, like slam dunk for Ubisoft, assuming it doesn't suck. Because if they can just get that out and let people buy the nostalgia of Black Flag, that will do gangbusters because people love Black Flag. Same with Oblivion. People love Oblivion. And it's not been, it's not been run into the dirt like Skyrim and Last of Us re-releases, remasters, remakes. At this point, like, people are excited about Oblivion because it hasn't been re-released 15 times. Like, if this was a shadow drop of the next generation version of Skyrim, people would be rolling their eyes, I think. But because it's Oblivion and they've been allowed to miss it, that goes a long way. It reminds me of that one interview. Do you guys remember which interview it was where he said, I think it's okay for people to miss things? Was it Maddie's interview? Was it Maddie's interview? I don't remember. Either way, I think it might have been Maddie's interview. Maybe it was like I think it was Maddie. Maybe I can pull that up. Hold on. Just want to find the one little snippet where he says this one thing. Boop. Show transcript. And then it's okay. Maybe it was like, it's okay to miss things. Here it is. Found it. Damn, I'm good. What is making sound? Okay.
Storytelling, totally get the desire for a new kind of mainline single player game.
Mm-hmm.
And look, those things take time. I don't think it's bad for people to miss things.
Right.
As well. So we just want to get.
I think that is it's a very important concept that is integral to BGS. I don't think it's something you just hand wave away, what he just said. I think that explains so much of how Bethesda operates. I think it's okay. I'll play back.
Those things take time.
Wait, enhance, Todd. Todd has been enhanced. Too enhanced. Hold on. There we go. Okay, Todd. What do you think?
I don't think it's bad for people to miss things.
Right.
As well. So we just want to get it right and make.
Exactly. I think that explains a lot of how they operate. It's like, yeah, it's going to take us forever to work on these things and to get the next Fallout game out. Yeah. But as he says, I don't think it's bad for people to miss things. And I think if anything, that is one of their secret weapons, is that it takes them so freaking long to make games that people really want. that by the time they come out, people get excited. And even if it's not phenomenal, it still is just exciting because it's an event, right? It's the same thing with GTA 6. It's an event. Once every decade, you get a new Grand Theft Auto game. Maybe, you know, in this case, once every decade and a half, you get a new GTA game. And by the time we get like Fallout 5, it unironically maybe once every 20 years you get one. Which, yeah, let that settle in. Skyrim, the last Elder Scrolls game, will probably be like 15, 16 years old by the time that we get the next game. Fallout 5 is expected to come maybe like 2030, sometime between 2033 and 2035, meaning it could be very close to 20 years since the last Fallout game, Fallout 4. Granted, they're also working on a Fallout 3 remake, allegedly, but you get what I mean. So I think that the fact that they work very slowly actually kind of helps them generate this hype, because for Oblivion, I think it reminds you of how, you know, what is it? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. I think that's what it is. And you see the opposite of it, right, with The Last of Us, where it's released constantly, you know, 15 times over. And, you know, it was like, I saw a meme where it was, name the last 5 games from Naughty Dog. The Last of Us? Okay, you got that one right. It's kind of the same thing for a while with BGS. It was like, name the last 3 releases from Bethesda. Skyrim? Okay, yep, you got it. But once you get off of that and you slow down a little bit and you're more precise and methodical with what you do, I think it works way better. And I think you see the benefits of it with the Oblivion remake reactions right now, is that people are getting really, really excited because the absence has made the heart grow fonder. And even now, you know, people who played the game, 19 years ago? Yeah, let that settle in. It came out 2006. It's almost 20 years ago. Even that long ago, like, people, I think, are going to go back and they're going to compare the old versus the new version, and they're going to be like, oh, I remember this POI back in the day. I remember finding this cool thing. Now, I do think that raises the standard and the bar. I do think that they have to really nail this remake. Otherwise, people are going to be pissed, because when you start to mess with nostalgia, you're playing with fire, you know? You just are. It's why I've said, like, if they end up doing that Black Flag remake by the end of this year, they got to be careful. If they start, like, stripping out motion capture cutscenes and replacing them with the static, like, talking to a wall ones that they have in AC Shadows, that's not going to go over well. If they redo a bunch of voice acting for the Oblivion remake, that doesn't go over well, I don't think. So we'll see. Todd needs the win. That's funny that you say that, because Todd, his most successful game of the last like 5-6 years, seemingly in terms of like public reception, was Indiana Jones, a game his company did not make, because he executive produced for that, and it was very well received. Like, Indiana Jones was really, really good. And it's very possible that this game, this Oblivion remake, remaster, whatever, ends up also being phenomenally well received. And once again, it's a game he probably is an executive producer on, but one that his team did not make, which is just funny.
Sully donated £9.99 through Super Chat. Random thought. Will sites like Siddiqui's and Kingwin see an increase in use with increased game prices? And should these sites be used? Thank you always for the content. It's great for Lego building.
Thank you, my friend. I'm glad to have you. And shout out Legos. I love Lego. As you can tell, I have the Lego Titanic above me and Lego Hogwarts. Yeah, I love Legos. But do I think that those sites see more use? Yes. Should they be used? I think that's well above my pay grade. I've heard people say that they are ripe with like stolen credit cards. There's a lot of fraud that takes place in those. That's really hard to vet, because people like steal credit cards, buy game keys, and then resell them to basically launder money that way. So it's really shady, you know, it just is as a concept. So, you know, it's always very risky to do that. Like, which is very dangerous. But it's above my pay grade. I have not, transparently, I've not done a lot of digging into it to know if it's like something people should be engaging with. But I would encourage you to be cautious, you know, when you deal with it, because it can be sketchy. Having said that, I do think people will start to flock to those websites more as prices go up, because people are not made of money. Shocker. It's one of those things. A lot of people that engage in like piracy, for example, they're not doing it because they just are like, they hate spending money, or they're not going to spend money. They're usually doing it because they don't want to risk $70 on something they hate. And you see a lot of the time where people will try like a pirated version of a game, they'll play it, and then they're like, ooh, I really like this. I'll go buy the game and support them and get the newest updates and DLC and online features and stuff and do it that way. So I just think, all that to say, I would just be, I'd be cautious with all that. Let's see. Okay, let me catch up on these super chats real quick, and then I want to look at the making of Oblivion, because I feel like we must, right? Because this is a video with footage from back in 2005, mostly, when they were building Oblivion for the first time. And it's going to scratch that nostalgic itch and also make you appreciate the original game. And I think it's going to set us up well for tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to find out what they are doing and what is actually happening here. And we're going to be able to see what they've changed and what, perhaps more importantly, they haven't. So it's going to be interesting. Real quick, let me catch up on these. And I did check. I do have a dentist appointment tomorrow, but it's not till like 1:30 p.m. So we'll at least be able to watch the reveal and maybe boot up the game if they shadow drop it immediately. You know, boot up the game for a little bit, and then I'll have to go to the dentist, which is miserable. So while you guys are enjoying the game, I'll just, you know, go to the dentist and it'll be fine. Damn it. There's rumors John Cena will be the next Pope. Oh, shout out. Are you sure about that? Honestly, that'd be cool. I think the only rule technically within Catholicism is that it has to be a practicing Catholic who has been baptized. I think that's the only actual rule on the books. They only ever like actually vote for and put up a cardinal, but technically they could put up somebody else, which would be funny. I mean, just total surprise drop out of nowhere. Like, we wanted to focus on youth and flexibility. We're nominating Joe Biden. Thank you for all of these. Let me catch up on these real quick. Let's see. I read that one. Thank you again for all of the generous super chats today, guys. Thank you for all of these, and for the memberships to everybody who got those. Forged Horizons over on Twitch, thank you for that. Orc, also thank you for the sub over on Twitch as well, and Bullrock as well. Thank you guys for that. On the YouTube side of things, Joshua Xavier gifted 5 memberships to the community. That's very, very generous. Thank you, my friend, and welcome everybody who got those. Let's see, I read that one. I read that one. Okay. Gold Kodak, thank you for the 5. Notice that the image uses the helm as the Oblivion symbol, and the eye is the dot in the middle. Oh, it's very sneaky. Yeah, it's very, very covert. Fabrice, thank you also for the 5. Luke, can you explain the logic behind getting Clair Obscur on Game Pass and dropping Oblivion 48 hours before it? Are they trying to bury the title? I honestly don't know. I think they just think that there's not going to be that much cannibalization. And they might be wrong. I mean, I kind of am getting the vibe they didn't expect this to be like so hype. Yeah. Is anybody else getting that feeling? It kind of feels like they thought that people would be like, oh, yay, Oblivion. But it would only be like hardcore Elder Scrolls fans that are really interested, which is why they kind of acted like just shadow dropping it, whatever. I'm getting the vibe that they didn't think that there would be this much interest in it. Otherwise, they would have made it like a bigger deal. Like, don't you feel the same way? Like, I just find it surprising that it's happening so quickly. Let's see. Sumaya, thank you also for re-upping your membership. I'm all for investigative journalism, but leak culture has destroyed a lot of excitement I used to have for announcements and showcases. Yeah, I've heard people say that same thing. I think part of it also, like, leaks have always happened going back decades in the games industry. The biggest difference now is that there's this whole culture and platform around streamers, TikTokers, YouTubers, and like a lot of independent journalists. They have to make a name for themselves by breaking the story first. And so there's this incentive to be the first with the story, to get it out there, to blast it very, very publicly. Whereas back in the day, like, there were people that knew things going on and knew secrets, but they wouldn't leak that because they didn't want to jeopardize their reputation. Like, for example, Jason Schreier, back in the day, he worked at Kotaku. And Kotaku got this inside scoop. They got a script for Fallout 4. This is like 2013, 14, okay? They got a script that was used for casting auditions for Fallout 4, and they leaked it and put it out there and reported on it. And as a result, Jason Schreier and Kotaku, they got like totally blacklisted by Bethesda, totally shut down, because it was like, hey, don't do that. How dare you? It was not okay. Because there was a sort of generally agreed upon thing that established like institutional games media, the Kotakus, IGN, GameSpot, PC Gamer, like those big guys, even if they knew something, they shouldn't report on it, otherwise they get blacklisted. Now, a lot of game coverage has been splintered off, and it's handled by independent YouTubers, streamers, leakers that have their own accounts on X or Twitter, like whatever. It's people that do podcasts and that type of thing. And as a result, I think you just see a lot of those people that 10, 15 years ago would have gotten the story and sat on it because they didn't want to risk getting blacklisted. Now you see those people just putting it out and they just drop it because they need the clicks, they need the clout, they need to get their name out there and talk about it and get the views. And that's how they make a living. You know, that's how they do it. And, you know, back in the day when people were working at IGN and they had worked there for 10 years and had a good career and a good salary and benefits and stuff, it wasn't worth risking that to drop the story. Whereas now it's like, I can't survive unless I do this. Whereas before it was, I probably won't survive if I do leak this. So it's just kind of shifted. But beyond that, I think leaks have always happened, even back then. It's just now, when something is leaked, it's blown up everywhere. Everybody talks about it. And even if you try not to talk about it, like you remember those Insomniac leaks? Those Insomniac leaks hit. And even though I was like, I don't really want to talk about them because it's like so early, like these Oblivion leaks, it looks good. It's a good argument and presentation for the game. Like it gets people excited when they see the leaks. The Oblivion ones were just like depressing because it was really early work in progress stuff that people were twisting into saying that it was going to be terrible, and there were a lot of problems with it. There was also personal information from devs leaked and all sorts of stuff. So I was like, we're not going to talk about it. But even still, we had people come into chat who were bringing it up and talking about it a ton. They weren't trying to do anything wrong. They just wanted to know about this leak that was happening, but it still spread. You know, it still got out there. So I totally understand the feeling that this is like a new thing that's spoiling a lot of hype, but I don't think it's necessarily new. You know, even in the lead up to like Fallout 4's reveal, people knew that that was happening. Like there were still leaks and stuff suggesting it was happening. You know, let me continue catching on this. Tyler, thank you for the chew. Did you ever watch Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Luke? Yes. Very, very good. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. Way better than I thought it was going to be after seeing some of the other adaptations of stuff that have come through. I think that was Netflix, so I was anxious about it, but it was very good. Ryman, again, thank you for that 10. Jinx, thank you for the 5. Could this game be a technology test for them simply doing the Elder Scrolls 6 the same way, creation engine in a UE5 wrapper? I don't know. What I do know is that they have said that Elder Scrolls 6 is being built in the creation engine 2. So they might be like changing their mind.
Burr donated $10 through Super Chat. Let's hope Bethesda takes note and ditches the creation engine for the Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, is just, I think people hope for that, but I think that even if they did that, there would be shortcomings and things that the creation engine could do that the Unreal Engine can't do, and vice versa, to be fair. But I think that there would be mixed reactions even if they were to do it. But I think what's pretty clear is that the creation engine is just like an albatross around their throat. And right now there's just a lot of people hear creation engine and they don't have good thoughts. Like people don't go, oh, cool. They roll their eyes. Whereas you hear like, oh, the rage engine that Rockstar uses. You're like, oh, this is going to be good. You know? Like if I had found out that the next Mafia game was built in the rage engine, I get more excited for it. But if I hear that, you know, Bethesda's releasing this game in the creation engine, I'm like, oh. And that's unfortunate, you know? You'd hope it would be the opposite. Some people love the creation engine because of mods. Absolutely. And that is a big component of this, is that the Oblivion remake probably does not support any mods at launch or ever because it's built in Unreal. It's not built in the creation engine. It's not built like that. So I do think mods are kind of the elephant in the room with this, but you can get mods working in Unreal Engine games. Hogwarts Legacy has a whole modding scene now. People have added like Azkaban as an entire quest line. If you've not tried that, if you have the game on PC, you should try it. Like they have an entire Azkaban quest line that modders have built. It's really cool. So you can do it. It just will require a lot of work. And I think that BGS largely has the approach that they're just like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I don't think they think anything is wrong. I think you see the reaction, the impressions, the interviews and everything, and they all are pretty much consistent that, player counts for Starfield are really good. Player counts for Fallout 76 have been really good. We don't need to worry about it, you know. Unreal Engine is free to everybody. No need to make mod tools. The thing is, Ryman, for them, it's not just mod tools. For them, it is the platform, because one of the big money makers for BGS are the paid mods, or sorry, creations. And the creations are just paid mods. I mean, they're paid like DLC that they don't have to make themselves, but they get a big cut of it. And they love that, but they'd have to build that whole platform in. And my understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, Unreal Engine would still take a cut if you were buying through that, because typically their licenses have to do with revenue over a certain threshold. So it's not as simple as just doing it. You know, it's a little more complicated than that. And I think all of that is a major consideration for them. Yeah, Unreal Engine's not free. You can download it and you can play that, like play around with it. But once you cross a threshold of revenue, which they definitely would, they then have to pay royalties on all sorts of different stuff, which starts to get expensive, especially because they own their own in-house engine. So they're like, we spend a ton of money training the staff to move to a new engine just to pay royalties on that engine, when Starfield had that engine and still had a lot of players and made a good amount of money. So like, I just don't think they see a problem. Let's see, where did I leave off? Let's see about that one. Tyler, again, thank you for the membership. Let's see. Oh yeah, we read that one from Ryman. Thank you for that one. Flemnasty. Ooh, baby. Thank you for that one. Yeah, remaking Starfield next. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. Braycat, thank you for the 5. If you need a drink after the stream or when playing Oblivion this week, come to Countryside Liquor in Loveland, Luke. Love the content, bro. Glad to have you, my friend. And Countryside Liquor. Let me Google that. I'm trying to see if I've been there.
Stephen Lozier donated $9.99 through Super Chat.
Ooh,
Had my
thank you.
77C1 calibrated by an ISF certified calibrator. 4 years too late. What a difference. This remaster of Oblivion is going to be the perfect game to test out the new...
Oh, why did it stop? To test out our new calibration on. Super stoked. I'm glad to hear that. I don't know what any of... Oh, wait, no. Okay. I'm tracking now. Reading it.
Fearless Wolf
Okay.
donated
Your
10
C1
pounds through
TV,
Super
77-inch
Chat.
C1.
Hey
I got you.
Luke, do you think the Oblivion remaster will match or surpass Skyrim in terms of graphics and overall polish? Skyrim still holds up way better than Oblivion visually today, even with mods.
Yeah. Especially if the stuff they've done overhauling, like combat, stealth, stamina, like if they've overhauled that stuff significantly, movement, it could be night and day. Like it could be significantly better.
Squashy G donated $9.99 through Super Chat.
Thank you, my friend.
Hey, just dropped in, so I'm not sure if this was discussed, but are they just announcing S4 Remaster or actually releasing it? I saw the Twitch and YouTube icons on the post.
We don't know yet. What I would say is all the people that said that this was going to be revealed in April also said that it will be dropping. Nobody was saying it's going to be revealed in April and drop in September. Everybody's saying
Jonathan Busher
it's dropping.
donated $10 through Super Chat. I know this may be blasphemous, but Todd is overrated.
Oh
All
my
his
God.
games since Skyrim haven't hit, and Obsidian made the best 3D Fallout.
Okay, it's okay. His super chat's over. No one can hurt you. No one can hurt you anymore. You'll be okay.
16 times the detail.
I know. You bestow detail on us, Todd. And yet he doubts you. And yet, is Todd's detail lost on you? Is his merciful creations, are his creations lost on you? Do you doubt? Do you think it doesn't just work? Let me guess, you think there's only 15 times the detail. I bet you don't understand or appreciate how much detail is actually there. Or how it's 4 times the size of Fallout 4, like with Fallout 76. I bet all of that is lost on you. You know? Yeah. I just need some goddamn faith in Todd. Does anybody have one of those AI bots that can do dialogue and like copy voices? Can somebody get a clip of Dutch saying, I need some goddamn faith in Todd Howard? I need that. I need that on the soundboard. I need it now. It'll be so good. Don't you know all of this just works? Oh, that's funny. Maybe that's one of the gaming hot takes that we put in here. Hold on. Oh my God, I just saw one of these. Where'd it go? I'm pasting that into our hot takes discussion, okay? We'll look at that later. That's very funny. Okay, that's funny. Let me continue catching up with these real quick because you guys are being very generous. TJ, Gerard, thank you for the 5. This is just an assumption with no basis at all, but I feel like we're going to see something about Elder Scrolls 6 tomorrow, even if it's just a slight insight. Oh, really? Just like a little gut feeling. Maybe they do something just really vague where they're like, and we are excited to share more.
Caleb donated
Elder Scrolls
$20
later.
through Super
I
Chat.
think somebody else said that too.
Hey Luke, this is Todd's mom, and he's super sad that you chat blasphemed against me. I mean him. He would really love it if you smited or at least banned that chatter for speaking all of me. I mean him.
I understand Todd's mom. I totally get you. To be fair, I'm triggered by it too. So you're not the only one upset. I think all of us here together are upset about it too. I think we're all very upset about it. Yeah. I mean, I've already reported him to the various authorities. So we're taking the steps we need to, for sure. Yeah, it's exactly, Kim. It's extremely upsetting what was just said. Yeah, no, it's extremely upsetting. I'm upset about it. But yeah, Steven, thank you for that 10. I did understand. Where did it go? I scrolled too far. Where'd it go? Oh God. Oh yeah, 77-inch C1 calibrated by an ISF certified calibrator. 4 years too late. What a difference. This remaster of Oblivion is going to be a perfect game to test the new calibration on. Yeah, now I'm tracking. When it was doing the voice to text, I was like 77 C1. I was like, is that a radiator on a car? But no, it's a C1 OLED from LG. I'm tracking now. I got you. And yeah, once you get those things calibrated, night and day. Night and day. Specifically calibrated by somebody that knows what they're doing. That can make a difference. Fearless, thank you again for that 10. Skawashi G, thank you for the 10 as well. Yeah, they probably do drop it. I think so. I see that, Jacob. That's funny. Let's see. Christoph, thank you for the membership as well. Thank you for that. Backbone, thank you for the 5. On the idea of players missing things, absence makes the heart grow fonder. It's a saying for a reason. Exactly. It very much is. Nephrodotus, thank you for the resub over on Twitch. Thank you for that, my friend. Appreciate you. Is calibration really important? I'm on a C2. It can be. Mainly calibration is important if you have a lot of like ambient light or other light in the room that could affect your eyes' perception of color on the display. If you're in a dark room, the factory calibration should be fine. But yeah, you just gotta be, it's different. It's different. You know, it depends much more on the ambience and stuff. Typically factory calibration is good though. Let's see. Valiant Tempest, thank you for that. Honestly, I just won Expedition 33 reviews already. You won't have to wait that much longer, my friend. You won't have to wait that much longer. Jonathan, thank you for that too. I don't think it just works. Banned. No. How dare you? Jonathan, thank you for that 5. Whoops, I scrolled too far. You guys, I'm not even joking. You're being so generous right now. You are crashing my YouTube dashboard. Like it won't even let me scroll. That's a wonderful problem to have. I thank you for it. But calm down. Calm down. Jimothy, thank you for the 5. Hi, this is Todd's mother. He really doesn't appreciate you talking about him that way. Please give him, me, a call ASAP. We have two. Todd's mom is in here on 2 different accounts under Caleb and Jimothy. She's upset. She's literally downstairs crying. Musical Harmony, thank you for the 2. It's my birthday today. Can't wait for Oblivion. Happy birthday, my friend. Happy birthday. And yeah, I think everybody's pretty pumped about it. PB, thank you for the 5. Did you check out the new Dark Ages trailer? I do have it pulled up. Also, if you like Souls games, don't ignore AI Limit. Last Berserker players are trashing. Oops, and it just crashed my dashboard again as I was trying to read it. Okay. Where did it go? Last Berserker players are trashing it for no reason. Oh, really? I will say Last Berserker is pretty good. I'll have a video on it coming soon. Cause yeah, yeah, Last Berserker is good, but AI Limit, I'll look that up. I'll look it up. Jacob Kenobi, thank you for the 5. Thank you for that 1. Luke, reschedule your dentist appointment. Your teeth are temporary. Oblivion is eternal. Don't disappoint the great Todd. It's true. It's true. I would love to call the dentist and explain to them that's why I need to cancel within 24 hours. Wait, so we'll waive the $40 cancellation fee if you can give us like a reason why you need to cancel it. Was there a family emergency or something? So, I mean, sort of. It's an emergency for my family too. Yeah, we're all kind of all hands on deck with it right now. See, there's this video game coming out. That would be funny. Fearless Wolf, this is Todd's mom. He's grounded till Oblivion has 16 times the detail and graphics. No more Skyrim remasters or sweet rolls. Damn it. For me, I know the sweet rolls are a meme. I only ever carried around blocks of cheese in Skyrim. Remember the big yellow things, big orange things? I carried around so many of those and I would eat them in droves. That was my meta for that. Nomad, thank you for that 5 as well. I personally think Skyrim or Starfield looked great graphically, but was very bland aesthetically and art direction wise. I'm sure ES6 will look fantastic. Yeah, it also had that weird color filter over the entire thing. You remember that? It's like a weird gray green filter over everything, all the environments. It was really weird. It's like, you don't need to do that, guys. You're fine. Let's see. This is Dutch. My faith in Todd is in the Discord. Oh, really? Oh, Sully put it. Hold on.
I need some goddamn faith in Todd.
It's not bad, actually. That's what.
I need some goddamn faith in Todd.
It's the last Todd. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Well done. That's good. That's good. Jonathan, thank you for that too. It's a family emerging. Papa Todd needs you. Or emergency. Yeah, Papa Todd always needs you. And then Steven, thank you for that one, for that 5. More on that. LG doesn't calibrate their TVs at D65 white point, even warm 50. I'm a stop for that stuff and pissed off way too long. Oh, big diff. I remember I mainly sold like Sony TVs, like Sony luxury TVs. Sold some LG ones, but we had a LG specific guy that would sell those. So I know Sony would do calibration out of the factory that was pretty good. Not like cinephile level unless you were on like the Z1D or one of those TVs, but you'd hope, because that was $100,000 TV. But yeah, the LG ones, I thought that the factory calibration was pretty good, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. On the monitors, it's pretty good. Okay. I think we're there. We're caught up there. It's Benjin. Thank you for subbing with Prime, my friend. Glad to have you. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Again, if you just got gifted a membership or sub, join the Discord, !Discord. I would love to have you in there. It's great. We have a good time. We're also going to be doing some giveaways soon. And my hope is to get some alpha codes for Marathon. And then we'll do like a giveaway for those. I don't have any codes right now to give away, but I'm trying to get some for the alpha. So the hope is to get you guys access to that as well. Evan, thank you for that 5. Hi, Luke. I'd love to work with you as a video editor if you need me. I sent you an email on Friday with my resume. Keep up the great content. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. For us, a lot of our stuff, like our current setup is pretty well handled. What I am actively looking for, so this applies to you, Evan. If you have the skill set, please send a follow-up email. And anybody else that watches or listens to this, I need somebody who is good and understands Facebook and Instagram. I can't stand the apps or websites, but I know there's a lot of viewership there. So if you understand those platforms and you know what you're doing and you can help edit, put stuff up there, please reach out. Okay? Please reach out. Okay. You guys are ridiculously generous. That was hilarious and ridiculous. You guys humble me every day, and I thank you, as does Todd, because your support will allow me to buy another cardboard cutout of him, and we'll just start to build a whole family. You know, it's happening as we speak. The family is growing. Our family is growing. Our family of Todds is growing. Okay. I don't know how Jacob is going to possibly edit this together. I have no idea. I don't think he does either, but it's going to be interesting. You know, good luck, Jacob. Good luck on that. I'll find a way. Yeah. I don't know. When in doubt, include more than you think you need to. I think that's the rule. Okay. Dude. Why do I just have so many stupid random notifications? I have random stuff where it's like 3 notifications from the weather app being like, hey, it might snow later. Like, get out of here. Okay. Let's talk about something random and kind of out of nowhere. Are you compelled yet? No? Well, damn it. I thought that would captivate you. Do you guys remember a little game? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm a professional. New segment. For real this time. Can I get a oh yeah? Okay. Real quick. Who remembers a little game by the name of Heavy Rain? Detroit Become Human. Does that ring a bell? Does that ring a bell? Beyond Two Souls? ? Says I. Well, those were all games made by a developer by the name of Quantic Dream. Quantic Dream has largely been AFK since 2018, I think is when Detroit Become Human came out. They've been off working on something that's been caught in development hell, allegedly. Here, I'll let it read it.
Kin donated 13 Canadian dollars and 99 cents through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Hey Luke, first ever Super Chat. I am wondering if you have seen Lorem the mod pack for Skyrim. It could rival ES6.
Yeah,
Also never liked JRPG, but Claire Obscure looks amazing.
I'm I have to be careful. I'm trying to figure out how to say this without just like getting in trouble. Yeah, Claire Obscure Expedition 33. I think there will be a lot to talk about. Yeah. Yeah. that's what I'll say. Yeah. Anyway, the mod pack though, that mod pack specifically, my buddy from college, he actually is like a big Skyrim modder, and he had it decked out. He showed me it when I was over at his place, like I don't remember how long ago, but not that long ago. And yeah, it blew my mind. Some of those mod packs are ridiculous. It's just like insanely impressive. So let's see this. So anyway, the expedition or not expedition, the Star Wars. Take a deep breath, Luke. Quantic Dream, the guys that made all of these games like Detroit Become Human, a game that I really liked. I still like, there's moments that are cringe, but Detroit Become Human is one of those games that's just wildly impressive. It's a branching story game. Choose your own adventure, but at the end of each chapter, they show you the branching paths you could have taken. They show you how much stuff could have been different based on your choices. And it's just fantastic. I'm so impressed by that game as time goes by. It's just more and more and more impressive at every single step. Like, it blows my mind. But with Detroit Become Human having come out and released, there's been just nothing from them for like 7 years. And it's really weird because normally 7 years, like, you'd hope to have everything kind of wrapped up and done. But they haven't just been sitting on their hands. They have been working on a game called Star Wars Eclipse. There was this trailer that dropped, this reveal trailer. Hold on. Let me, can I refresh? I want to go to the actual like YouTube page. Oh, it won't let me. Well, anyway, this is the game they've been working on. It's a Star Wars game. It is a new action adventure, multiple character driven branching narrative game set in the iconic Star Wars galaxy. They phrased it as early development with this trailer, but they announced it and put it out there. Sometimes they do this just to be like, hey guys, we still exist, remember us, and please put this on your wish list or mental radar. Other times they put this out because they want to appeal to talent and they want to acquire talent, get people to apply for jobs, because a lot of people are like, I just want to make a Star Wars game. That's been a dream of mine. And so they come in there and put this out there hoping that people get interested and come apply. And it does look very good. But to be fair, none of this will end up actually being in the game. Like, this is just a cinematic trailer. It doesn't really tell you much of anything, especially when they phrase it as being very early in development. Something else happened in this same period, because Quantic Dream is also like, one of their main owners is NetEase. They have a ton of money invested in them, and NetEase did a bunch of restructuring, studio closures and everything. And because Star Wars Eclipse was just kind of AFK, people were worried that they got shut down too. Seems like they were largely unaffected and they're still doing stuff. There were some layoffs. There were things that were questionable. Like, as you can see, in 2022, Quantic Dream became a wholly owned, so I stand corrected, not just partially owned, wholly owned subsidiary of NetEase, aligning with their shared vision for the future. And as you can see, allegedly, the Star Wars game is targeting 2026 for a release date. Okay? So bear this in mind. Allegedly looking for 2026. Well, why are we talking about this? Well, because they've awoken. The sleeping beast has been awoken. There was a post that they made out of nowhere on X simply saying, hey there, it's been a while. And that's it. On 420, no less. Ooh. What does this mean? Well, it was very quickly answered, like immediately after, because they also replied to this and said this. Now, there is a proposed community note that this is not officially tied. There's no badge on this page saying that it's officially Quantic Dream's like company profile, which is true. This is why it's not officially confirmed at this point. at this point. But it seems like the general consensus is that this is the yet to be verified account. Who knows? Might not be. Might be somebody that just got really lucky and like what, 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, reserved this page and just got really lucky with it. Maybe, but we don't know. Either way, they say that they're going to be there at Star Wars in Los Angeles in 2027. Now, I would be surprised if this is delayed to 2027. Okay. Like that would be what, 9 years after Detroit Become Human. And I just don't know. I mean, there's been other companies that have not made something for 9 years and still put stuff out. So I guess there's other examples like Ken Levine's team. Like they haven't done anything. Well, technically it's a new team, but Ken Levine hasn't put out a game since BioShock Infinite. So technically, sometimes it happens. Monolith, yeah, I guess. Yeah, Monolith would be... Yeah, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing. But I think that there is... there's just a lot of question marks with it. And I like Quantic Dream. I like their stuff. I like the branching narratives and the choose your own adventure style games. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But I just think that there's such a weird thing going on with it where they're not communicating clearly, where the website hasn't been updated since 2023, apparently. And I just don't know what's happening. Because it feels like if you are making a Star Wars game, like a game in one of the biggest IP in the world, that you would be a little bit more on top of it, but apparently not. I don't know. Allegedly, they had a lot of development hell issues because basically the engine that they used for Detroit Become Human, if you played it, you know what I'm talking about. Like they had these issues where they couldn't have a whole lot of characters on screen. And so they would do these really tight camera angles where they wanted to be like, oh, there's a whole army of androids coming down the street. And they line the camera up very carefully to show like 10 characters, implying that there's a lot. But then occasionally you get a sweeping view and there's like 15 because they couldn't have more in the scene. They couldn't handle it. But they would try to frame it that way with very careful camera placement to make it appear much bigger and vast. And apparently for this game, they wanted to go really vast and expansive and crazy. And it just was requiring a whole lot of tech overhauls that they didn't have access to. So they spent a long time working on it. But they still insist they're working on it and it's coming. But time will tell. I think the fake out with this is a little funny. Maybe this is serious and maybe they actually are going to be at Star Wars event in 2 years and they're announcing 2 years ahead of time that they're going to be there. But this would, like, frankly, this wouldn't, it wouldn't be the weirdest thing about this game because the whole thing has been really, really weird. But I would feel like if they were going to reawaken and start talking about stuff, it would be closer to the time when they do it. I don't know. The whole thing is just kind of bizarre. Maybe this is a typo, this culture thing. Maybe it's supposed to be. I don't know. No, they say it's not every year, so it actually is 2027. Maybe they honestly are waiting 2 years, and then I don't know. The whole thing's weird. I hope that they are actually working on it and they have a game to show, but it's been so long and they have like nothing to show for it. I don't really know what to make of it. I hope that they get something to show soon. If they had something to show at like Summer Games Fest, that'd be awesome. But I don't know, man. Let's see. What was I just gonna? Okay. Oh yeah, there was a new trailer, a story trailer for Doom. Yeah, I don't know if there's really enough here for me to do like a whole segment on it because it's also like it looks badass, but I don't understand enough of the lore, I think, to point to and explain a lot of this. But yeah, if you want to see the full like story trailer, it is pretty insane. And it's also weird to see a Doom game that's doing much more like precise and cinematic storytelling instead of just like environmental storytelling. It's just like a little jarring. I'm not used to it. Like, I'm here for it. I like it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just different. Dragon, helicopter, airplane. You gotta love it. Ugh, what a year for gaming. What a year for gaming. You know, man, it's been crazy. Stephanie, thank you for that membership. Thank you for that. Omni Venom also, thank you for becoming a member. And the Yeast of Us. That's a good name. The state of modern gaming coverage can need heavily. Is that another dough pun? Maybe you meant lean, but either way, I'm gonna accept it as a dough pun, and I'm gonna move on. Even though I think need is like KNEAD for kneading dough, I think. But anyway, the Yeast of Us. The state of modern game coverage can need heavily into the negativity and clickbait. Thank you for your unique and logic-based perspective. Thank you, my friend. And yeah, I try. I mean, I'm sure there's times when we maybe lean too hard into criticality or things, but I try to balance it out. I try to be reasonable with it. It triggers a lot of people because, like, I simultaneously had people saying that I was I was glazing AC Shadows, but then if you go to the AC Shadows subreddit, people were saying that I was a hater for AC Shadows. And I figure if you piss off both extremes, you're probably doing something right. So that's where I'm at. It was just, the whole thing was stupid. But anyway, yeah, we try to keep a somewhat level head. We fail plenty of times, I'm sure, but we try. The Yeast of Us. I have tears in my eyes. Love the name. You want to know something kind of crazy? So, new mini tangent. I was talking to my in-laws yesterday, and they were talking about like what TV shows they watch. We talked about Severance for a few minutes, but then they were like, "Oh yeah, and we started this new one that we really have enjoyed. It's about like zombies and then this like fungus thing." I was like, "Oh, really?" And I kind of let the line out a little bit. I like let them talk about it a little bit, and then it came out like, of course, they're talking about The Last of Us. And so I was like, yeah, so I mean, that's based on a video game franchise from this company, Naughty Dog. And I kind of explained all of that stuff. And they were like, yeah, and season 2 is just dropping. There's a new episode tonight. And I was like, I knew what was going to happen in last night's episode. I was just like, yeah, I think tonight's going to be a big episode. I think there's a lot's going to happen. But I haven't talked to them since. So I'm really curious. What they thought of it, because like of course we know what happens, but I really want to know what it would feel like to somebody that has never heard that part of the story before and didn't know that was going to happen. You know, I'm very interested. It's the same reason why I asked people in the critique we did. I asked them what they thought of the game if they didn't get it leaked for them and spoiled for them, and they just played The Last of Us Part 2 without any knowledge of what happens beforehand. Because a lot of us that were really interested in The Last of Us had it leaked and spoiled for us, and so we didn't get to see it in its pure form, you know, as intended by the artists. But I would be interested to know what they think of it. No experience, no knowledge of the games at all. What they thought of that moment, if they thought that it made sense or was really frustrating. I don't know. So I'll report back. I'll let you know once I hear, because I'm also very curious. I just want to know. I want to know. Okay. Let's do this. We'll just play that from Sully again real quick. Hold on.
I need some goddamn faith in Todd.
Yeah, that's a Jor wow face right there. Yeah. Shout out Jor emotes. Yeah, Temple of Todd, 16 times the faith. There you go. Yep. And then Todd commanded, "Let there be hype," and there was hype. There was indeed. Oh wait, Todd is too smart for this world. The Last of Us. Okay. The Elder Scrolls 6 story opens. New game starts a character creation. Goes to the campfire scene. Old man is near. Let me tell you a story. Time rewinds. Opening scene. Hands bound. Back of the wagon. Title appears. Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Todd Howard. You did it again. It's a game within a game. It's all part of it. It's all part of it. How can I join the Discord server? Just do !Discord and it will explain to you how to do it. It's basically you just like connect your accounts. Ugh. And then once you've connected the accounts, in that same tab in the Discord settings, it'll say servers you gain access to with this connection, basically. And then it's just right there. Okay. My P. Klenos. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. Thank you for the sub with Prime. Thank you. And Camster27 Cam. Thank you. 270 Cam. Thank you for becoming subs over there on Twitch. Thank you, my friends. Let's talk about this real quick. Maybe not that quick. We won't go through the whole thing. Okay. We'll forward through this, but news. I guess you could say Abby got a Joel in one. I think you. I guess you could. Abby did indeed get a Joel in one. I did not watch the episode last night. I've been waiting till there's enough episodes for me to binge because I like the opening of The Last of Us Part 2 is like such an emotional trudge. It's not easy to consume, at least in the game form. So I've been waiting till there's more episodes to get through that because I kind of want to just sit down and watch episodes 1 through 3 in one night, and then it opens up and gets a little better. But I don't think I could just leave off on the episode from last night, which I know what happens. You know, I'm not sure if I could do that. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, and a bunch of you just joined the Discord. Glad to have you guys. Thank you. Thank you, my friends. What does good tell you? Thank you for the 5, by the way. Do you think there will be a Last of Us 3? I think there'll be something. And they might like call it a spin-off or something. Like, they might do something stupid like that. But I do think that there will be something. I don't think that they just walk away because it's just makes too much sense not to, you know. I think. Okay. Let's do this real quick. Okay. News habit. So not Discord. So Oblivion Remake is expected to come out probably tomorrow. I think that's the assumption at this point. And as part of that, you know, I think that it's important to go back and see and appreciate and understand what it did that was so magical, special. And this right here is a documentary that came out on one of the discs for the game. And I just want to go and show you a couple little snippets of it because it reframes the game back in 2005, 2006 language. And it's very fascinating to see the game at that point versus today. So for example, like the game was framed as graphically stunning, like graphically amazing. It was considered to be just a graphical powerhouse, which nowadays thinking of BGS games as like graphically cutting edge is just weird. Like it doesn't make sense. But back in the day, it was considered that BGS games were on that level. There's other things where they talk about like the game design, the AI, different things like that. And I'm going to show you this because I do think when we get the game, assuming we do get the game tomorrow, I do think there's going to be interesting little bitty things that have been changed, altered. And I'm excited to see how it's been preserved and like the soul of the game's been preserved because it's not necessarily like a given that it will be. Because when you recreate something, some of the clunk is gone, some of the charm of it is gone. So I'm curious to see how this develops. But let me show you some snippets. As you can see, each year hundreds of video game companies bring their latest games to E3. Not anymore. It's very sad. The biggest gaming convention in the world. Bethesda Softworks decided to unveil it at this event. Their most ambitious game ever. Oblivion. This is the story behind the game. Oh man. Think Film Incorporated. By the way, I think this should be more normalized. I love the making of documentaries of games, whether it's Elder Scrolls, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas did it too. They also did it for The Last of Us with Grounded, and The Last of Us Part 2 with Grounded 2, and God of War 2018. They did the Raising Kratos documentary. I love these things. I think it should be normalized. Do, 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 do. Look at that. The making of Oblivion.
That's the thing that shocked.
Just let it settle. A lot of the footage you're going to be seeing is from 20 years ago. 19. A lot of it's from like summer of 2006. I believe is the timeline for this. I believe. They'll show it. But a lot of the footage you're seeing is about 20 years old. And we're about to get a new version of it. Isn't that crazy? Jacob Kenobi, thank you for the membership, my friend. Thank you.
Shocks most people. They think of it. That's the thing that shocks most people. They think of a video game as a few people in their garage, and you say, no, this is 50, 60 people for 3.5 years. Like, what?
50, 60 people for 3.5 years. Now it's like 400 to 600 people for 5 to 6 years. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? This is also ZeniMax Media Incorporated. As you watch these documentaries, as the years go by, you'll see them change the studio and move to different ones. So like all of the promotional videos and stuff for Starfield were in their new studio, their new space. They have like their own crazy building that's beautiful and amazing. But previously, like they worked in an office park. You can actually find it on Google Maps, and it's very unassuming and kind of unremarkable. It looks like it's for an accounting firm. It's much less exciting than you would think. But that's where they got started. They start small and they grow.
What? A lot of people, I think that video games are, purely kids, so it's like a toy. So, why would you put that much effort into something that's a toy? I was the kid. I was writing games when I was, 12, whatever.
Young Todd.
And the other kids in the block would say, I'm going to play quarterback for the Cowboys. And I'd be like, I'm going to make video games, and everyone's going to play them. Like, you dork. Go back to the chess club. Shout out to the chess club.
Oh, Todd. But he's living the dream. He's living the dream. You got to give him credit for that. I just have to wonder, and if anybody out there has any knowledge of this monitor back in 2005, 2006 had to be like $50,000. This thing, like I remember the TVs of the time growing up, and like TVs were about this size and weighed 500 pounds and were 4 feet thick. This monitor back then had to be like the most cutting edge of all monitors. I can only imagine. Like this had to be such a flex, this monitor. It had to be.
Who's laughing now?
Who is laughing now?
Yes, I was in the chess club. So the Elder Scrolls is our role-playing series that we've been doing since 1994, and with each game we have started over and tried to do something very, very new. Each of them we try to, for that generation of hardware and game-playing folks, create what we think is the quintessential role-playing game, and this time we went crazy and looked at doing the game for next-generation consoles and PCs that didn't even exist when we started this project.
Very ambitious. That's what you got to give BGS, is that they've historically been pretty ambitious. I think if anything, like the problems and the shortcomings of Starfield were because they were too ambitious. Like they literally got ahead of themselves and built something that their own tech couldn't handle. And that's why it kind of fell flat in a lot of ways. But they've stayed hungry. Like they pushed the boundary. I'll give them that.
All right, so this is her new upstairs. This is her puppy named Dog. She talks to him. She says, no, she's got to practice. She's got things to do. She's got to practice. He has to be good dog. So she's going to go pick up that bow that's over on the table there. And she's going to take a few shots. Right now, her marksman skill is very low. So she goes and she gets a marksmanship potion.
Are they actually drinking potions? How'd you do that?
She drinks the potion.
Pause a second. So this is all, wow, this is new to me. So I'm making lists.
I've got that on the list as we need the potion or the drinking potion.
That.
Yeah, it's on there.
Okay.
This is one thing that's very interesting. So they're seeing a demonstration in the game of an NPC drinking a potion to gain a status effect because she wants to train and gain this skill. So she takes a potion that's going to help with that. And Todd says it's all new to him. He hasn't seen that yet. This is one of the like magic things about old school Bethesda is that allegedly, based on my discussions with people who worked there, have worked there, and also interviews we've watched and listened to, it used to be kind of freeform. They would let devs kind of do their own thing in large part. Like, of course, they were all building the same game. But if a designer had a really cool idea for something kind of like that, then they would let the line out. They'd let them, let go of the reins, whatever, let them do that. And then they kind of trusted each other to do that. And that works when you have 50, 60, 70 people in the studio because you can have meetings like this, talk to them and see it, keep tabs on it. But once you grow to the point where they are now, where it's like 400 to 600 people, you can't do it anymore. It just doesn't work that way. And you have to have the producers that are scheduling things, and everything is based on the checklists of getting these tasks done. It's much more corporate. Exactly, Bustin. It's very, very corporate. And it's why bigger is not always necessarily like better. Yes, once you scale up, you have more hands to help. But if those hands are only operating at 50% efficiency, doubling your team size does not double your output. If they were previously at 100% efficiency when you had 100 employees, but you go to 200 and all of your processes are so slow and bogged down with bureaucracy and productivity drops, like you didn't actually fix anything. Your budget's skyrocketing because you're employing twice the people, but you're not getting more done. And that's why like process and management is so crucial. And like company culture and policies are crucial, because if you expand too big and you don't have those systems in place, you end up with things like Fallout 76, or like they've talked about very openly, Cyberpunk 2077, where basically you just had one hand not knowing what the other was doing. And as a result, stuff was constantly breaking. So I think it's very interesting to see even something as quick and seemingly unimportant as a comment like that symbolizes a broader culture shift within the studio. It's very interesting.
All right, so she drinks that, which increases her marksmanship skill. Now she attacks.
Dude, that is brilliant.
So she goes and picks up this book over here and starts reading. Dog starts eating. His animations are going to be tweaked, and now he's got all sorts of energy. He's running around. He's running around like an idiot, and she's starting to get annoyed because she's trying to read. She's like, "No, mommy's reading," and he goes, "Huh?" Bam! Paralyzed. Falls over. She goes back to reading while the dog twitches helplessly on the ground. All right, so now she says she's gonna go get some sleep. The dog still wants food though, so he follows her over to the bed. She says, "You're a very bad puppy. You're a very bad puppy." And he goes, after kicking a bottle out of him. Awesome. And scene.
I think the demo.
I have to wonder if they could do this today. Like, imagine if in a presentation, like at a PlayStation show or an Xbox showcase, they're like, yes, and our AI is so intelligent. Look, we now have a new feature, animal abuse. Like, it's amazing. But it's very 2005. I mean, I don't think you'd see this nowadays. But that was the whole gameplay demo. Like, they showed this at E3 behind closed doors to like demonstrate the amazing fascinating development of what they called Radiant AI, and this was the demo they used to show it.
Showed a lot of promise, and we just have to go through and polish a lot of small stuff, and you know, the final battle part definitely isn't quite there yet, but
Ashley Cheng, I believe, is still there. Was one of the like senior people working on Starfield even back then. I do also think, can somebody Google while we're doing this when Emil Pagliarulo joined BGS? Because I don't remember seeing him in this documentary. Maybe we will see him. But I know he was there for Fallout 3, but I'm not sure if he was there for Oblivion.
I mean, the game systems work. We just need to go back and add that extra fine-tuning, extra scripting that's required for that. So.
Yeah, no panic yet.
You guys are waiting for this
2002?
panic,
Okay, maybe we
and
will
I don't-
see him.
I don't think it's quite gonna come.
What's it
Do you see who this is? Do you see who this guy is?
fake here?
Pete Hines. So Pete would eventually climb the ranks within Bethesda Softworks. And Pete, I actually think Pete deserves way more credit than he got before he retired. He retired, I think, last year or the year before. But or I guess it would have been right after Starfield. So I think he retired early last year. But Pete, one of his things apparently was that he did not want to just put stuff out and then abandon it if it didn't click. Like, he wanted to get the game where it needed to be, even if that meant spending tons of time and money working on it. Like, that's just what he had to do. So he promised that they would fix Fallout 76, and they did. You could counter and say it should have never released in that state. Totally fair. But they did stick with it and build it into something a lot of people really love now. Same with what was the other one? Unfortunately, there were a number of Bethesda Softworks games kind of like that. I'm blanking on it. But one of the other things he said was he wanted to save was Redfall. He wanted to stick with it and work on it and get it where it needed to be. But what's interesting is he retired, and then a matter of like a month later, they shut down Arcane Austin and all of that. Like, they shut down Redfall completely. They shut down the studio, fired everybody. But it was only once he was gone. So I think he was one of the last people that was really pushing that, and trying to save it and you know, make good on some of these missteps, which, to be fair, were probably beyond his control. If he's in charge of marketing, he's not deciding when they publish, you know, that's not his thing. But yeah, he started at BGS and then he climbed the ladder out of there, kind of like how Herman Holst started in Guerrilla Games and then climbed the ladder out of Guerrilla Games to the more corporate side of things. Same thing happened with Pete as well.
There are two big focuses for E3. So one is the demo, and we'll go in there, have a big giant plasma screen, and it'll be, you know, me and Todd in there just talking to people about the game and kind of running through the same demo every hour on the hour. And then the second thing would be the trailer. It has to be awesome. It can't miss. It's the most important thing we're doing because it gets seen by everybody.
For 65 years, I have ruled this empire. Generals and kings have knelt at my command. But a darkness comes. The blood tide rises. These are the closing days of the Third Era.
Oblivion is a sword and sorcery epic role-playing game. You know, the things you see in Lord of the Rings or stuff like that. And at its heart, you know, it is this run through dungeons and kill things game. You have all these features and it's all kind of, there's so many things people get attached to, but at its heart, it's run through dungeons and kill creatures and take their stuff and buy bigger weapons and kill bigger creatures. And that's kind of layered in on top of this. Wow, look at these flowers. Can I pick that? You know?
Luke be like 14 when this came out? No, when Oblivion came out, I was 9. Yeah. Let that settle in.
It's almost like two things sitting on top of each other. Here's the game, and then here's the virtual world.
This is where this is one of the first things I was for. We have a lot of 4 and 5. Wow. So I am genuinely curious how this feeling is preserved in a remaster / remake, because a lot of that like charm, if you played it back in the day, you know, way back when, a lot of that charm came from like the hardware, the fact that it was this like next generation game at the time. But right now, I mean, it definitely won't play like a next generation game. I think the graphical overhauls and stuff will help with it, but I'm genuinely interested to see what a new generation thinks of it, you know, because as I said, when this game came out, I was 9. But even now, right now, in the year of our Lord, Todd Howard, there's a lot of people who are legally able to vote, who are full-grown adults who weren't born when Oblivion came out. And that kind of blows your brain a little bit. I mean, that's crazy. But it means that there's a lot of people who never had the chance to try this. And if they did have the chance to try it, they were trying it, you know, when it was years old. And so obviously it wasn't as breathtaking. Was someone at the door? I thought I heard a crunch, but no. So the reason I say this is because there's a lot of opportunity, I think, for them to appeal and introduce this to a new audience, certainly. But it's also because realistically, like if Elder Scrolls 6 comes out in 2027, let's say, let's just throw that date out there, that will be 16 years since Skyrim released. And nobody's playing a game when they're like 2 years old, 3 years old. They probably would only be able to play the game once they're like 7-ish, which means that there will be a lot of people, you know, 20, 21, 22-year-olds that never even played Skyrim because it came out when they were 2, 3, 4 years old. And so of course they didn't play it. And that's weird for us to think about because like it might have been really integral to your childhood or your teen years or young adulthood or late adulthood, whatever, wherever you are. But I think that this is all a big part of reintroducing the IP to a lot of people who have never seen it before and never played it before because they were toddlers, you know, but that's just how long it's been since that. So I'm really interested to see, like, as they discuss the dungeon design, how this evolves into a new audience, how a new audience interacts with this and feels about it. It's going to be interesting. So I'm not sure if it plays as well nowadays, you know?
Yeah, so like
I love seeing all the old CRT
like,
monitors and
you want
stuff.
to give the player a chance to avoid it, to feel like they see it, or to use it against the creatures.
Also, can we just appreciate this guy's cubicle? All of the little action figures he's got pinned up there, still in their containers. All the comic books stretched out. The lamp on top of this. I remember seeing PCs in this case. This was like a really cool case at the time. The built-in DVD reader and player. Oh, that's fancy. That's fancy. There's 2 types of gamers out there. PC gamers, I mean. Those who built their first PC with a DVD drive and those who didn't. Only OGs will appreciate how cool it was to have a DVD player right there. Is that a floppy disk reader too? Oh, high roller.
Again, we'll be liberal with those straps. I'd rather add too many and have people complain and take them out rather than have
That's what I'm thinking right now with loot and creatures. Just
Todd Broadwater. I wonder if he's still there. Let's look him up. Todd Broadwater. Former XCOM and Sims dev. Oh, is this him at Firaxis? Or sorry, Firaxis? Oh my god, I hate LinkedIn so much. It's so bad. Come on, load, damn you. Yeah, this is him. This is him. He worked at BGS from April 2002 to April 2007. dungeon art, environment art, level design. He also is the lead dungeon artist at Big Huge Games. I don't know what that is. But then he worked at Firaxis from 2008 till now. So he's still out there. He's not a BGS anymore, but he's still out there. But look at young Todd Broadwater.
Yeah, I'm trying to overwhelm it with lots of loot, so that you get more out of the dungeon. I guess.
What is Firaxis? Firaxis. They do like crap. What's the name of the franchise? Kingdom of Avalar. Like a lot of sim games, like simulation games.
Yeah, everybody's been saying the argument you get more in someone's basement than you do in a quest.
Well, I'm one of the world artists, but I specialize in the Oblivion plane art and the lower class. The stuff that's really dirty and dingy and sort of nasty, or the stuff that looks very deadly and scary and, somewhat demonic or evil. That seems to be in my comfort zone, in a way, that I can go do that stuff far easier than if they asked me to do anything that was nice and beautiful.
Yeah, look at that. This is the guy. Yeah, so edgy. Oh yeah, XCOM, Midnight Suns, Civilization. Yeah, so I guess simulation games is not the right term. It's like strategy games. That's the word I'm looking for, strategy.
This is basically showing an overview of what you'd expect a dungeon level to look like. So they're built on a grid system, so that they have an exact fit and match, and you won't see any seams. It's a lot like a Lego set in the way, except, far more complex and detailed. And then before you know it, you have this world that you created in your own mind that you can sort of experience and feel the atmosphere and sort of the dread and the scariness of it. And this is where you find your first area that's inhabited by traps. So my goal is, I'm hoping the player walk over to the treasure chest and walk through all 3 of these zones, therefore setting off all 3 of these traps up here, and here. I mean, I live a pretty normal life. I have a wife and 2 daughters, so it's very normal for me. But they exist in that world with me, like they're exposed to the monsters and to the films and all the stuff that I have in the house. I love the undead.
Very edgy, yeah. Ugh. For 2005, this was scandalous.
I try to use them as much as possible. Just bring in one of these guys, pop them down, and so like this one only has 1 arm, or the other one has no head. I guess I'm sort of a non-conventional sort of person, so that I've always stayed away from the more conservative side of life. So I like the stuff that is far more, I guess, less mainstream. So it wouldn't just follow this route along the path here, but maybe it would take this route, and give it a little bit more lifelike behavior as far as the direction it's going to travel. But also give people questions as to why it's there and what it stands for, because that could be more interesting in what you read into it rather than the literal. What your mind imagines sometimes is far cooler than what the reality is of situations.
Ooh la la.
I know the designers have a long wish list of art that they wanted, but you know what? I mean, if you don't get that unique looking sword, I think we can live with it looking like every other sword in the game, so.
I'm waiting for Craig to do as usual. Everybody stop coding, I'm gonna fix this.
Just 2-step. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So I'm gonna make everybody turn.
Craig Walton. I want to see this guy too. I like looking these guys up to see what happened to them. Craig Walton. Let's see. Craig Walton. This guy? Yeah. So he's still there. He's still there. He even did he worked on Starfield. So this guy's still there. Wow. All these years later. Can't get rid of him.
Turn around and we'll start making some progress.
Until you Google someone who died. That's why I'm not looking up the older guys. I don't want to be sad. AI.
I think the big thing is the AI we have in the game. We designed this system, Radiant AI, that allows the people in the world to react really intelligently, and they sort of have their own goals, so they can look at their environment around them and decide how they want to accomplish them.
Our NPCs exist no matter if you're there or not. They're doing what they're supposed to do. You can send a guy off to a dungeon to kill stuff, and you don't have to go with him. You go back to that dungeon, either he'll be dead or the things that he was supposed to kill will be dead. I mean, it will have happened whether you were there or not.
Like this guy, I can basically go up to him and say hi to him, and he'll greet me. He'll chat with me.
So this is something where, like, for the time, this was really cool. Don't get me wrong. Nowadays, this is very, very normal. Okay, like this isn't that remarkable. Which is also why I think it's going to be interesting to see how all of this plays out. Because at the time, Radiant AI was sold as like this cutting edge, amazing technology. Whereas nowadays, it probably doesn't feel like that. It's like, no duh. Of course, you can have really aggressive NPCs or really, you know, placid, uninterested ones or whatever. But at the time, this was like, again, groundbreaking. It was so cool. It was so cool. There were some things that were probably overpromised and under-delivered on some of it, but still, I mean, you'll see them kind of explain it. And nowadays, you'd be like, yeah, every open world game should have this, but for the time, this was very different.
His aggression is like a 5. I'm going to give him a higher aggression. So now he really hates my guts. He tremendously hates my guts. And so we're going to move over here, and he's immediately going to go combat with me. The guy behind him is a guard. So he committed a crime by attacking me. So the guard will attack him. These other guys are just trying to stay away. So eventually he figures out the guard is a much dangerous target than I am, because I haven't struck him once. So he'll fight the guard. But the good guard saved me, kept me from getting killed.
It's why, like, things like this can always be cool, but it's also about how you frame it and communicate it to the player, because something like that is cool when you see a demo of it, like, ooh, just the aggression against the player caused that. And it could have been that the aggression was spiked because you pickpocketed him like 10 hours of gameplay ago, and now he hates you because he knew that you stole from him. It could be something like that, but you have to have dialogue that communicates that. Otherwise, people might think that that's a glitch or a bug, that this NPC just started attacking me out of nowhere, when in reality it was this cool, like, dynamic thing that happened because of your choices. But if it's not communicated properly, it feels like a bug. It's one of the things that's like fascinating to me about making video games, is that a lot of it is not just about doing something cool or having a cool feature or something dynamic. It's about how you communicate that to the player so they understand what's going on, because a cool feature means nothing if people don't understand it. It just doesn't. And that's where, like, the real trickiness of game dev comes in.
One of the initial things we had was we turned it on so the guys could all do their stuff, and some guy went around town, some NPC you couldn't even see, went around town and bought all the armor. So when you went to the stores, there was nothing for you to buy. It's like a ship that's bringing all these water leaks.
Exactly. Like, that's a perfect example of, like, something really cool happening. They gave NPCs the ability to go to stores and buy stuff, but once they opened that floodgate, an NPC went and bought all of the, you know, this one particular type of item or this type of food or healing or whatever. And then the player goes and it's like, oh, the game's bugged. When in reality, it's not. It's not a bug. It's literally a feature. But because it's not working the way the player would expect it to, it doesn't feel good. It's not fun. You know, so sometimes just raw dynamics don't actually help anything. They can actually make the game worse. You have to balance it with what is actually fun and what works with what players expect it to do, you know.
And we're constantly, like, you know, filling them up.
Yeah, the NPC becomes a scalper. Exactly. It's actually meant to simulate real life, really, at the end of the day. There's a new launch of a crazy new battle axe at the store in the city. But a bunch of NPCs bought them up and are trying to flip them for double the price. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Did you realize the player can easily steal a horse, ride it to this guy's place, leave it in his house, and steal all his money when the other guy goes out and tries to ride the horse, and hilarity ensues?
When you have something that's powerful, it has a great capacity to be really cool or a great capacity to really make insanity.
They're my actors. They're my children. They have to behave properly. When they're not acting right, everyone comes looking to me. So, yeah, I talk to them, and I have them set up and know what they do. And, yeah, it's kind of odd.
Art. The art stuff is cool, but I do want to look at the E3 section specifically, because they do some stuff where they show, like, the voice actors and some of that stuff. This right here, again, I mentioned this in the other video we did. Do you know who this is? You guys remember?
For Oblivion to do the Nord females again.
I played the Nord women, the Nords, and they are, I guess, a Viking-like race, and the women are fantastic warriors. And
So Linda Carter, they don't really make a big deal of it here, but again, just in case you didn't know or you missed that other one, Miss Linda Carter, she played Wonder Woman for years back in the 70s, very well-known actress from that, but most significantly, she was, or maybe not most, but also significantly, she was married to Robert Altman. Robert Altman was the guy that ran ZeniMax for like decades, facilitated the sale of ZeniMax to Microsoft, got the $7.5 billion sale, like made all that money. It was crazy, but he had a rare type of leukemia and was hospitalized and passed away, like out of nowhere. It's crazy. Like really tragic also that he worked his ass off for decades and decades, sells the company for billions, and then passes away before he can like even really enjoy it. But this is his wife. She also like did a bunch of the voice acting for all these games, which is wild. Like it's absolutely wild, but it's a small world, BGS. It's a small world. But I want to show you some of the little tidbits because they end up going to E3, right? So the whole documentary is covering this. That's a good picture. They cover like preparing the demo, preparing all of this stuff, and then they get there to actually show off the game at E3. So they put the demo on a computer. They pack the computer into the box.
He did it!
That frame rate, though.
Now we just need to make sure that works all day.
If you do not have any red buttons, proceed through the register.
If they don't like it a lot,
So yeah, this is 2005, not even 2006. May 15th, 2005.
I'll be really disappointed. It's all about meeting expectations. It could still be like one of the best games there, but if it doesn't meet their expectations.
What time we start? Oh, right now it's 7:10, and we were supposed to be starting the Microsoft event in 5 minutes, but that's not going to happen.
Is Todd 4 feet tall? Close to it. No, he's a little guy. He's just a little fella. Yeah, he's just a little fella. Damn, they sweating. Well, dude, just imagine you work on anything for like 3, 4, 5 years. That's all you've been working on. And then it all comes down to basically one 3-minute trailer. Like that trailer has to convince the public that this is worth checking out. It's why like I don't blame the Bungie guys for being so stressed about the marathon reveal. Because for them, much higher stakes. It's literally their company is on the line. Like, because they were bought out for $3.7 billion and like it all kind of is riding on marathon. So I don't blame these guys for sweating before these reveals. It's high stakes. You know, I work on a YouTube video for like a few weeks, like a big critique or something that we spend a couple months on or whatever it is. And I'm stressed about that. I can only imagine what it's like if you spend years and like everybody's livelihood is on the line. It's crazy, crazy high stakes.
So we're just hanging out, waiting to meet up with some folks, and we go get something to drink and we'll watch them put our trailer up in front of thousands of people.
Oh, wait, is Todd a gum chewer? Todd. Theodore. Watch him. He's in the bottom left. I think he's chewing gum. Todd.
We'll watch him put our trailer up in front of...
He's a mouth open gum chewer. At least he was 20 years ago. I'm fine with chewing gum. Gum's good. But it's like a cow chewing cud. It's just like, stop. I'm watching you, Todd, from 20 years ago. How dare you?
Thousands of people. I mean, I'm really looking
It's a
forward
Zen
to it.
pouch.
It's an awful lot of work to get to this point. I mean, we haven't seen it on a freaking movie screen, so we have no idea how it's going to look. Well, we know it looks really good on a 61-inch TV, but on a movie screen, But if it looks as good as we know it can, and if it's and if the response is really awesome, I think it probably maybe the greatest professional moment of my life.
What's funny to me is they haven't seen it on the screen yet, so they hadn't done like a dress rehearsal to do it. They do that even for like the Game Awards or Summer Games Fest or those shows. They'll do the entire show through once or twice sometimes, like the day before or earlier the day of. And they just want to make sure everything's working, right? And everything looks the way it should and sounds the way it should. So it's funny to hear that they have the Xbox 360 reveal event and they hadn't even seen their own trailer on the screen yet. It's very interesting, very funny.
So how about this? How about a brand new, full-featured,
Peter Moore
next-generation role-playing game in the launch window? Morrowind was one of the best-selling role-playing games ever on the Xbox. The sequel to this incredible game is called Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion. It promises to feature one of the largest open-ended worlds ever created for a video game. It also includes thousands of characters that are governed by groundbreaking AI.
Groundbreaking.
Also includes thousands of characters that are governed by groundbreaking AI.
Groundbreaking AI. Are there actually thousands of characters in Oblivion? That seems like a lot, even for a modern game. Thousands? I'm not sure if that's accurate, but whatever. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
These characters eat, sleep, and complete tasks all around the clock. And they make their own choices based on what's going on in the world around them. Welcome to the world of Oblivion.
I'm legit sad knowing that E3's dead. Yeah, dude, I am so thankful I got to go in 2019 at the last one before, COVID hit and everything. Because it was an experience. And even then it was starting to die out because all the big, like, I think Sony wasn't even there, or they had their own private like media only event. It didn't make sense anymore, but I think eventually it will come back. Maybe this is like one of my deep cut predictions out of nowhere, is that I think they do bring it back in like 10 years when people are really nostalgic for it. I think maybe then they do it, but that's the thing. They have to get like Xbox and PlayStation on board, and that's where it's tricky, because for them it doesn't make as much sense. It makes way more sense to just do their own thing. I think you might see it with like a Phil Spencer, but I think you'd have to see major leadership changes at Sony to do it, because like you remember I think it was the Game Awards. The Game Awards where Phil Spencer, Reggie Fils-Aimé, and Sean Layden, they all went on stage together. Yeah, you remember this? The Game Awards 2018, that's when it was, where they literally got the heads of all these different competitors and they stood on stage together, because they're like, gaming's bigger than just any one of us, any one of our platforms. Let's stand together. It was a very simple gesture, but it was significant. And I think there's a reason why you have not seen, like, you didn't see Jim Ryan up on stage with Phil Spencer. He never went to the Game Awards, as far as I'm aware. He never attended any of these things, because I don't think he gave a crap. But I think that this was way more significant than anybody gave him credit for. And I would love to see something like this happen again. I think it would be really healthy for the industry. But until you saw this type of thing happen again, I'm not sure, like on stage, I'm not sure if we'll ever see something like E3 happen again. Because I think you have to have these guys willing to like, okay, we're going to come together at this one event for the fans, for the community, for the public. And then I think it could happen, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen with current like PlayStation leadership. Phil demonstrated he was willing to do it in that picture, but I don't think any of the current leadership at PlayStation, for example, is willing to do it. Spin, spin, Harmon, dance through the fire. Yeah, exactly.
Howard of Bethesda Softworks, and welcome to our presentation of...
Oh, Todd's got that Young Yeah microphone. Look at that.
Hi, I'm Todd Howard of Bethesda Softworks, and welcome to our presentation of
Look at
The Elder
that.
Scrolls IV: Oblivion.
The fate of the world.
This game was
just looks unbelievable. It actually has trees, unlike Vardenfall.
The whole first level of the game is a prison break. And through your actions, it really determines what kind of character you'll be.
I mean, sometimes I worry that games are going to get so realistic looking that I won't want to play in them because they're too real, and then I might as well just be at home. Only this was a pretty good case for hyper-realism.
Hyper-realism. 2005. Again, hyper-realism in Oblivion.
The forest was gorgeous.
Unbelievable. It's easily the most impressive game that we've seen at E3. It's like with the Radiant AI thing. Yeah. That's always one of my big issues with RPGs is the NPC characters are kind of boring. Like they're just there and you talk to them and they're kind of just like this clunky way of getting information. But it's so much more entertaining to watch like somebody flame their dog.
Again, I just could never imagine that happening today. Like back in 2005, it's like, oh, it's really cool that woman lit her dog on fire. Nowadays, like companies get anxious if they have dogs in their game, period. I remember talking to somebody, a friend, who said that she couldn't play The Last of Us Part 2. She couldn't play through it because there's points where like dogs get hurt. Like she was able to get through most of the early levels by just not like killing the dogs or fighting them. And it was like an added challenge, the no dog killing runs, but she just couldn't bring herself to do it. Because there is that one point in The Last of Us Part 2 at the aquarium where you have to kill the dog and the dog will die and there's nothing you can do about it. And at that point she just couldn't. She turned it off. It's funny because I'm like, you're okay with killing people, like a lot of people. But the dog that's trying to kill you, you have trouble getting over that. And I guess it's because like the dog is innocent. I understand the argument, but yeah, seeing a presentation where they light a dog on fire is just, it's funny because I don't think you'd ever see that today as like part of the selling point of, oh yes, yeah. But maybe we'll see that. Maybe in the Oblivion remake when it drops, if it drops tomorrow, we'll see if dogs are still ignitable. Who knows? Dude, what an encapsulation of 2005. The big camcorder with the eyepiece and the hand strap filming a little TV on a wall. Like that's just, oh, those are the days, man.
Oh my God, have you seen our booth? It's off the hook.
Fans of the series, they're gonna go nuts. They're gonna love it.
Morrowind changed my life. I don't know about that. Maybe it didn't change my life. It definitely took away a lot of my hours.
We look back at what people really liked about role-playing in the first place. The setting, the action, the heroism.
When that guy came, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but when the guy came out of that Oblivion portal, that was cool. He was so cool.
That was so cool. Bro needs a hug. Oh man, this is mad hyped. But back again in the day, this was like crazy, like hype out, off the chart.
They do have a very unique sort of little setup there, doing titles that take a long time, that have a distinct story, and they've really resonated with fans over the years.
I totally love the storyline as it is, and like the way it develops is like just so good.
And as you know, if it's an Elder Scrolls game, people are going to go buy it just because.
Just because. There's a lot of wisdom in that. Just take that back.
And as you know, if it's an Elder Scrolls game, people are going to go buy it just because.
Truer words may never have been spoken. He didn't even know. 20 years later, we'd be like, wisdom. After its unveiling at E3, Oblivion won critical acclaim from gamers and the press alike. Best role-playing game of E3 2005. Best role-playing game of E3 2005, again, from GameSpot. It stood out as the most impressive role-playing game at the show. Sure, it looks quite pretty, but what really grabs us about Oblivion is the amazing artificial intelligence, which makes heavy use of dynamic conversation and behavior. Oblivion leapfrogs past New to become one of the few truly next-generation titles at the show. Oblivion wins top honors in Game Chronicles magazine's 2005 Best of Show Awards. Morrowind was one of the best RPGs on the original Xbox, and its creators at Bethesda are aiming to make a greater impact on the 360. Ooh. Best overall game of E3 2005. Wow. Isn't that crazy? So that's why people are really excited for the Oblivion remake, you know, because back in the day, it really was on that level. People were losing their minds for it. And what I'm most interested in is just seeing how it's going to be received in this new package from a new audience. Because obviously, things that were groundbreaking in 2005 are probably considered typical or standard nowadays. So I think, you know, expectations will shift and change a little bit. So I'm excited to see how it develops and how it changes. Because I mean, maybe that's part of the strategy with calling it a remaster versus remake, is that they're keeping a lot of that stuff and they don't want people to throw a fit. I'm not sure, but it's going to be interesting to see.
TAZMEISTER donated £10 through Super Chat. Hi Luke, just found out I'm going to be a dad.
Congratulations.
I'm going to enjoy the Oblivion remake while I still can. Any advice for a first-time dad? Thanks.
First of all, major congrats. That's fantastic. Love to hear it. That's fantastic. I'm very excited for you. Secondly, advice. Yeah, you're going to enjoy it while you still can. That's funny. I will say a handheld gaming device, if you don't have one already, maybe look into one, because you're going to be spending a lot of time like on a couch or in bed with the baby on your chest. So like maybe consider investing in like a Steam Deck or something, because it's really nice to be able to just have a game, you know, when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, I just have to stay awake until the baby falls asleep again. So I'll just put 30 minutes into the game. Handhelds are useful. Other advice, I wish people had told me this before, and it might not be a problem for you if you're like really, really fit and flexible, whatever. What I didn't realize is that like as just a normal adult, as a like just functioning in my life, I'm not bending over a lot. Okay. This sounds like a setup for a joke. It's not. My lower back hurt so bad for the first like 3 weeks of Lachlan's life being here, because bending over for diaper changes, bending over to pick him up out of like the bassinet, like everything. My back hurt so bad. So bad. I really, really wish I had like done stretches, done deadlifts, done stuff to build up the muscles back there, because you just don't realize how much you're going to be like getting down onto the floor to do diaper changes or leaning down into the bassinet to pick up the baby. Telling you, it makes a difference. Okay, so do some lower back exercises, stretches, that type of thing. It will make a big old difference. Big old difference. Grandpa Luke, yeah, my back, it was a problem. Like, granted, I have back problems normally, but yeah, core health too. Yeah, all of that's good, but just lower back especially, it was something I hadn't heard anybody mention, because all the other stuff, like, you know, get rest while you can, like everybody's heard that stuff. But seriously, lower back stretches and exercises to strengthen that will change your life. Just telling you. Arms too, because babies are heavy. Yeah, it's the baby carrier specifically, because that thing can be like 30-40 pounds if it's one of the big hefty ones. So you just gotta you gotta be prepared, you know, gotta be ready. But congratulations, my friend. That's fantastic. Congratulations. That's very good. Whew, how exciting. How exciting. Work on your lats. Yeah, it's also the traps too. Yeah. Because you're doing a lot of this or picking up the baby and that. Yeah. There's a lot. Just, do a ton of working out. Become a bodybuilder, I guess. That's fantastic. Congratulations again, Tazmeister. That's wonderful. Avery, thank you for that too. Think they'll add Skyrim Grandma to Elder Scrolls 4 Remake. Or Remaster. I don't know if they're going to add her to that. I know they already did the scans to add her to Elder Scrolls 6. So she's going to be in that. But I would be surprised if she's in Oblivion. Maybe she will be, but I'd be surprised. Escanor, thank you for that one. Partner, what do you think about Overwatch 2 making a comeback with the stadium mode and what they need to get rid of the 2 on the business side? I think the biggest thing is that they just have to build out the game in a robust enough way that it can compete with rivals. I liked Overwatch back in the day, but it got to the point where it was like, it couldn't compete, like matchmaking times were really long. It just wasn't as impressive with the amount of content they were making. It just wasn't on the same level. So if they can overhaul it and really ramp it up, then maybe they can be competitive. But it's kind of this chicken and the egg thing. Like, which do they need to come first? Players aren't going to come unless they put way more money and effort into it, but they don't want to put way more money and effort into it because there aren't currently players. So they don't want to put the cart before the horse. They don't want to put the money in if the players aren't there, but the players aren't going to be there unless the money's poured in. So it's just kind of this weird spot where they don't know what to do, and it's just, I don't know what the solution is. I don't know maybe it makes sense for them to just move on, or maybe they'll just get to work on Overwatch 3. I wouldn't put that past them. Let's be honest. I mean, at this point, it might be more likely that they do Overwatch 3 before they fix Overwatch 2. Wilfredo, thank you for the 2. New IGN article for the next Battlefield's destruction. I did see that. I think we'll look at that probably on Wednesday. Do you think there will be a creation club, horse armor perhaps? Yeah, in a bunch of those leaks, they show little tidbits of armor packs, or what look to be armor packs. So I think that there probably is something. Whether they call it the Creation Club or not, I'm not sure, because like it won't be the Creation Club since there won't be like full mod support or anything. Yeah, here it is. So like these were the leaked images, and you can see armor sets, horse armor, weapon sets. This looks like weapon sets and more horse armor. So I think they're going to do cosmetics, but I don't think it'll be the Creation Club specifically. It's probably going to be like its own little microtransaction store. That'd be my guess. Let's see. I read that one. Armin Dedick, thank you for the membership there. Jimothy, thank you for that too. I guess you could say Abby got her Joel in 1. Oh yeah, I did read that one. Thank you for that. Jack Smith, thank you for the 5. What does your gut tell you? Oh, I did read that one. Yeah, I do think we eventually see something. Might be like a Joel Tommy story or spinoff or something, but I think we see more Last of Us. I don't think it's done forever. Jacob Kenobi, again, thank you for the new membership. Thank you for that one. Avery, thank you for the 2. We read that one. Okay, I think we're actually caught up. I'm actually caught up. There we go. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I've not seen The Last of Us season 2 yet. I've been waiting till there's more episodes so I can binge it, but we'll see. Yeah. Also, just let you know, if you have any investments, don't look at the stock market right now. It's not great. Just don't look. Just don't look. It's like we've all been there where like you don't want to check your bank account because you're like, I don't even know. I don't want to know. I remember when I was working at Best Buy, I had so little money that like I knew my account was almost certainly in the negative. So I was just like, just not going to look today. Just not going to look today. Just going to move on. I know objectively that doesn't help anything, but still. I looked. Oh God. Don't do that. Stop. Tyler, thank you. Very generous.
Tyler Szynski donated $20 through Super Chat. I've never played Oblivion. I was too young. I was blown away by Skyrim and Assassin's Creed 1 on the 360 as a kid. I wanted to explore more of Tamriel. Skyrim's world was amazing. June
5th, I'm turning 21, and SW2 releases. I think... Yeah, I'm interested because my first like real exposure to Elder Scrolls was Skyrim as well. And so I'm really excited to see what it feels like because like I've played Oblivion, but there's a lot of people who played Skyrim who never played Oblivion. So I'm excited to see what those people think of it, you know? Like for those people who have never even touched it, have had no exposure, what does this new packaging of it do for them? You know, I'm honestly curious. I'm not sure. I always wanted to own a liquor store around the corner from the stock exchange. Dude, that's brilliant. You'd make crazy good money. Crazy good money. Man. 360 took me out. Yeah. The text to speech sometimes surprises you. Okay. They should have remade Morrowind. I mean, if this goes really well, they might. That's, I think, a much bigger undertaking, though. I think you'd have to rebuild a lot more.
Edgar Vasquez donated $10 through Super Chat. Here's $10 for your portfolio. You think they do the same thing to Morrowind with the uplift?
Thank you for the 10. And I think... I think if this goes really well, I don't know why they wouldn't, you know? That's kind of where I'm at. Like, it would be... I think there's a lot less, maybe... Like Oblivion for a lot of people is very nostalgic for them because it was the first time they really fell in love with Elder Scrolls. Because it was like this groundbreaking next generation thing on the 360 as like their first console or one of their first consoles. And then they bought Oblivion and it blew their minds. And so it's very special to them, very exciting. And I'm not sure if Morrowind has the same pull to this extent, to this crazy level. So I'm not sure if it would be as big. But, you know, maybe they put the Unreal Engine treatment on Skyrim. Maybe they do that. I think they could try it, but I don't think it would be necessarily received as huge as what we're seeing with Oblivion. You know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Oblivion for a lot of people is a very special game. And I think Morrowind is special for a lot of people too, but I think it's a significantly smaller number of people. I'm one of the Morrowind nostalgia people, play it every year. Yeah, I wonder what... But I think because it's so much older than even Oblivion, I do think, and it's from a totally different generation even than Oblivion. So I think there would be a lot more work to do. Like they wouldn't be able to just call that a remaster. They'd have to call that a full remake. They'd have to do a lot more work, I think. Daggerfall. I think Daggerfall would be interesting to see like a reworking of, but I also think that would also take a lot more work because Daggerfall is one of those games that you either love it or you hate it. Like there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of middle or like a whole lot of middle ground with that. It seems like a lot of people just are not into it or love it dearly. Even at like BGS, I think there's a lot of polarization there. Daggerfall was something else. Probably too ambitious for its own good, but still. Yeah, it was way too big. Yeah, it's one of those things where I think BGS, to their credit, they often push the boundary, but I think sometimes they get in trouble. Or over the last like 20 years, 30 years, they've gotten in trouble because sometimes they push way too hard. And then their own tech can't keep up with what they're trying to do. And that causes plenty of problems. Arena. Yeah, Arena is on another level because that game is like the size of an entire continent where it's just like huge and ridiculous. And it like they never stopped to ask, should we do this? They just went bigger because I think it sounded cooler. Which it does sound cool, but still. Yeah. Tyler. Yeah, Luke, sometimes you surprise me. The old man vibes you give off. Honestly, you don't look that old at all. Well, I appreciate that. If I shave my facial hair, I look 12. But yeah, I feel like I'm an old man at heart more than anything. Yeah, I think that's mostly what it is. Okay, fam. Well, here's the deal. We made good time today. We did good. We got through a ton of stuff. I think we're going to call it there. I'll be back tomorrow and we'll stream and try, assuming they launch it, we'll try the Oblivion remake. But we're going to do that. Again, if you got a membership, if you got a Twitch sub, whatever, make sure to go and connect your account to Discord so you can join our Discord server. Again, !Discord, and it'll give you the instructions for how to do that. I wanted to do the hot takes today, but we kind of ran out of time because we talked about Oblivion so much. But this just gives you guys one more chance to put those hot takes into the Discord so that we can do it. It's under Luke Asks You. Just so you know, under Luke Asks You right there. So put it in there and we can do it. Active router. Every game is a 6 to 7 out of 10. What's your hot take? Every game sucks. That's funny. That's a, you know what? That is a hot take. I'll give you that. Until next time, my friends, much love. I'll see you in the morning. Hugs and kisses. One more day. One day more. I'll see you then.